Sandra all the time is here with the cold hard truth. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. We always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, we calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth telling, more problem solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. What a beautiful day. Yes, let's get it, folks. Hope you guys had a wonderful evening. We've got lots lined up for you today. So make sure you join the WhatsApp channel, get all the show links as we go live. So we do have today's Tuesday, which means that we've got Medical Rundown Tuesday. Very, very interesting discussion this morning. And in fact, I kind of misread the headline a little bit. And I'll tell you guys about that as we get started, because there's two things here that are very close that we'll be discussing this morning. So you might have misread it too, thinking it was supposed to be irritable bowel syndrome. Turns out today we're going to be talking about inflammatory bowel disease. Very different. All right, let's bring in Shamari Scott, who is our Chief Business Officer for Health City, Cayman Islands. Good morning, Shamari. How are you?
Good morning, Sandy. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I think I saw a little bit of like a Freudian slip or something. I wanted it to be about IBS. Oh boy, we're in trouble.
So,
Looks like Shamari had another winning weekend.
That's right. So we're like one game out of the playoffs and still have a few more games left. And we have a big game. In the US, Thanksgiving is a big holiday. It's a football holiday as well. And they have football all day. And guess what? The Dolphins have that night match in Green Bay. Probably will be snowing, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for us to win. But we're definitely on national TV going to bring it home. Mark my words. I will have this again next week.
All right. So, of course, thank you so much for that. And I just want to advise people that we are aware of the fender bender down by Cayman Bay. So we're going to be posting that here shortly. Please just drive with caution. And, of course, we always want to congratulate Shamari on a win. And he's sporting his, I don't know what to call that bamboozling thing around your neck, but we'll call it a necklace for simplicity.
It's our winner's circle Dolphins chain.
Oh my gosh. It's like you became a rapper overnight and you decided to splurge on that thing. That's how big that is.
Well, the one I need to find is, the wrestling WWE belts, those big championship belts. I saw one that has the Dolphins on it, but I can't find it anywhere. That's the next one. No.
I think your wife might have to really put her foot down on that one.
Well,
she may have to say, Shamari, do not bring that in my house.
I might get it for Christmas. Don't say anything.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, really important topic on today's discussion. And of course, we've got the medical experts who are going to help us break it down today. We've got Dr. Cyril Alex, who is here. Good morning, Dr. Cyril. How are you?
Morning. I'm so good. How are you doing today?
Yes, I'm very, very good. I'm hoping you're going to give us some insight into what this is, because, I'm suspecting that maybe the two that I was confusing are somehow connected. But anyway, you'll tell us all about it. Shamari, has Dr. Cyril been on the show before?
Dr. Cyril, you haven't been on the show before, correct?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, we have so many people that come through.
I
I was trying to
know.
remember, but a lot of times people actually have to contact me to get through, because they have a certain issue, and Dr. Cyril is the guy. So I'm
Yeah,
always working through the patient team to get people to him. So in my mind, I was like, has Dr. Cyril been on? But no, that's just through the regular
yeah.
workings of getting people to him. But
Right,
we're
right, right.
we're excited to have Dr. Suro with us. He's a consultant, gastroenterologist. He has 20
Mhm,
years of experience, so over 2 decades of experience. He's done more than 7,000 endoscopic procedures, over 5,000 colonoscopies. So he has
mm,
vast experience that spans endoscopic techniques, including
mhm,
bariatric procedures, as well as management of complex gastrointestinal conditions, and we'll be discussing one of those today. But
mhm.
we're very, very excited that Dr. Cyril has been with us for what, 2 years now, Dr. Cyril?
Three.
3 years, 3 years. See, the time is flying,
Wow,
right?
I know, I know.
So,
Wow.
so we need to do a better job of getting you on before the next 3 years, Dr. Cyril.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, the phone lines are always open, folks. If you want to call in, I suspect a lot of people find this conversation today extremely educational and interesting. Feel free to call in and ask your questions. All right. Not to be left out, we also have Michelle Peltzer, who's a dietitian. Is this your new dietitian at HSA?
At,
HCC, sorry.
so we are excited to have Michelle Pelser with us as well, registered dietitian, and
Ah,
we would have had the other half last week, but this week
yes.
we have Michelle, and she's an expert at counseling, treatment planning, and process monitoring when it comes to the diet and nutrition. She's an expert in nutrition care. She's going to be working obviously within our ICU, our NICU, adult and pediatric wards, and she
Mhm.
also has a great background, and she'll be able to help with our nutrition education that's so needed across all of the different products we have, as well as the executive health. And as you would have heard last week, we are excited to help where we can, even within the
Mhm.
schools. And guess what, Sandy? So last week we had a
Mhm.
dietitian all the way from Brazil. This
Yeah.
time we have a dietitian all the way from where we visited recently with the chamber.
Oh,
So
South
this is my
Africa.
cup of the big five, Michelle.
Nice. Wow,
So
that's
we
that's fantastic.
so we have
Yeah,
Michelle all the way from South Africa here to help us as well. So
yeah. We
becoming
we had
very
a fantastic
diverse.
time in your country. So yes, indeed. Very good. Well, Michelle, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, you're really leveling up on your team there, Shamari. I love it. Very nice. All right. So let's talk about inflammatory bowel disease. Now, like I said, when I first read this, I actually thought it said IBS because I do suffer from IBS. I guess it's something that's always, sort of in the back of my mind. So let's talk about what IBD is, and then in a minute we'll inquire if there's any connections between the two and what people should be looking out for. What exactly, Doc, is inflammatory bowel disease?
Yeah. So just like what's in that name itself, inflammation,
Mhm.
right? Inflammatory bowel disease. Primarily, the inflammation is the catch in that. In the irritable bowel, the main difference between IBS and IBD is the inflammation. So when you see a patient with inflammatory bowel disease, the
Mhm.
intestines, the colon, it appears really inflamed,
Mhm.
inflamed in the sense that it appears red, ulcers, bleeding, there are structural changes which we can see in case of an inflammatory bowel disease. But in case of an irritable bowel, it looks exactly like a healthy colon, intestines. But,
Mhm.
so inflammatory bowel disease, since it's an ongoing inflammation, it is a chronic condition.
Mhm.
Don't treat it, it leads to permanent damage. It leads
Oh
to
wow.
narrowing, strictures, perforations, fistulas, and all those things. Yeah, so the primary difference between IBD and IBS is the presence of inflammation and structural changes. The
Mhm.
similarities, the presentation, a lot of symptoms can overlap. You can have abdominal pain, abdominal cramp,
Mhm.
bloating, change in your bowel habits, sometimes diarrhea, sometimes constipation, fatigue,
Mhm.
affecting your daily life. All these can be common between the two, but irritable bowel will not have all the inflammation changes. It will not have big bleeding episodes. It will not have weight loss. It will not give you anemia and all those things. Those are the things which we look out for when we try to see whether it is IBS or IBD. So in case of IBD, you get all these things, wherein we can have a lot of bleeding, weight loss,
Mhm.
yeah, changes, other manifestations. Yeah. So yeah,
Mhm.
inflammation is the catch.
Yes. So, just to be clear, IBS stands for irritable bowel syndrome, different entirely from inflammatory bowel disease. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. And inflammatory bowel disease certainly sounds like it's the more serious of the two.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So like I mentioned, if untreated, it leads to permanent damages, permanent changes, so early detection of inflammatory bowel disease and separating it from IBS. So like I said, a lot of overlap between the symptoms, but it's very important that we don't miss or diagnose an inflammatory bowel disease, misdiagnose an inflammatory bowel disease, because it can lead to permanent changes. So always pick it up early and treat it adequately. It comes back to a normal goal.
Hmm. Okay. So, two main types, and I've heard of these things before. And in fact, I think I know someone who has um, UC. But tell us what exactly is disease and ulcerative
Yeah.
colitis.
So both are the primarily two types of inflammatory bowel disease. Uh,
Mhm.
Separate entity in the sense that the sites which are affected. So ulcerative colitis basically means an inflammation of the colon or the large intestine.
Mhm.
So ulcerative colitis primarily involves the large intestine. That's it. But the Crohn's, on the other hand, it can involve from the mouth till the ends, any part of the GI tract, any part, the small intestine, the stomach, the large intestine, any part can be involved in Crohn's disease. Management wise, subtle differences, but mostly the treatment wise, more or less, but the complications, the manifestations, little more severe in case of Crohn. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, but these are the two types of IBD.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So I'm sure we're going to get into some symptoms here and
Mhm.
what you need to be looking out for. So I guess people confuse these two because the names are so incredibly similar and they both have, in layman's terms, have something to do with the stomach area.
Yes, yes, true, absolutely true. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So, like I mentioned, the symptoms, the pain, the loose stools, the sometimes
Mhm.
constipation, the cramps, how it affects us, daily, activity. Every day you feel, cramps, pains, similar in both, both those things. But there are some salient differences for IBD. Hmm? Yeah.
Mhm. All right. Oh, so fascinating. All right. So, IBD symptoms. What should someone be looking for?
Okay. Yeah. So chronic diarrhea, persistent diarrhea. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And what
Blood.
would you say is the difference between chronic and yeah?
Anything which lasts more than 4 weeks, 4 to 6
Oh
weeks.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is something, so most of
Yes.
the infectious diarrheas, the viral diarrheas, the bacterial, they tend to settle over a period of 1 week, maximum 2 weeks. That's the time period we look at all these infectious diarrheas. But when
Mm,
it goes to around 4 weeks, 6 weeks, that's the time when we look out for other things, whether there is an inflammatory bowel disease, so then we start looking for signs of inflammation. The bleeding, the significant bleeding, that it's a separate, it separates the IBD or a colitis from IBS. In IBS you don't get significant bleeding. Okay.
mhm.
Then weight loss, that is another important symptom which we ask for. Then nocturnal symptoms, so in case of irritable bowel, usually the history would be like, during daytime I suffer from this, once I'm asleep, I'm fine. The next cycle starts when I get up. But in case of IBD, when you have an inflammation, they
Uh-huh.
frequently tell us that, from in the middle of the night while I'm sleeping, I had to get up with a severe pain, severe crampy pain. Then I had 2 3 bouts of diarrhea, some blood. Those are the history which we look out for. Okay, then low blood levels, deficiencies in children, especially, the growth, when they are not meeting the growth, the expected growth rates. Yeah, so these are some of the things which we look out for to differentiate between IBD and IBS.
So this inflammatory bowel disease is something that can actually impact children as well.
Yes, absolutely. There is
Oh.
a special group called as a very early IBD. Very early IBD means under 6 years. IBD coming at 6, less than 6 years. Yeah. So
Wow.
that is why IBD is, very, we tend to, anything related to the GI, we try to blame it on just the food, the environment. But, there is a strong genetic component also to IBD.
Mhm.
So yeah, so very early IBD is something which, it's a group wherein, you can have it under 6 years, even in infancy, 1 year, 2 year. Yeah.
Mhm.
Pediatric IBD itself is a great big branch.
Mhm. Very interesting. Wow. All right. So, sometimes with children, we kind of ignore a lot, like, oh, they've got a tummy ache. We think, oh, this is normal for children. And I think sometimes their issues go undiagnosed because we don't take them quite as seriously. And, they don't always complain either. I find that sometimes they allow things to go for long periods of time, or their complaint might be so subtle that you really don't pick up on the fact that it's a problem. So I guess you would say that it's important to ensure that you're paying attention to how often your children are having a bowel movement, what the bowel movement looks like, and if they complain of any, cramping or discomfort, if they're having any sort of diarrhea as well.
True, absolutely. And the growth, usually the pediatricians, pick it up when they chart their growths. So when they feel that they are not, meeting the percentile and they are falling behind, they tend to pick up small deficiencies in them, and some bleeding. That's the time when, most of the referral and looking for this IBD happens in pediatrics.
Yep. All right, very good. So, what are some of the causes then of IBD?
Yeah. So, like the one which I touched about, the genetic, definitely, like for most of the diseases, genetic makeup background definitely plays a role. So, when you have a family, someone in your family with IBD, 1 in 10 persons, there is a chance that you get IBD too. So genetic, definitely there are specific genes which have been identified, and like I mentioned, in very early in infancy, when you diagnose IBD, most of them are genetic. The other important component is the environment. We can't deny that fact. The diet, the environment definitely plays a role. So how do we infer? How did we get that data? So previously, most of the IBD was diagnosed in North America, European, in the industrialized world. So once the industrialization started in developing world, where traditionally IBD was very low, prevalent, the incidence started going up. So the food habits, the use of additives, emulsifiers, the pollutants, all these started playing a role, and uh, the prevalence of IBD has gone up significantly in the newly industrializing, the developing world. So definitely, so there is a component, and one very fascinating hypothesis is a hygiene hypothesis. So what this hypothesis basically means is, uh, earlier, the early childhood, we used to play outside, we catch some bug, get a tummy, you have one or two loose stools, some flu, so
Mm-hmm.
our immune system gets tuned to these small attacks. They know how to respond. It is
Mm-hmm.
tuned to respond to these small attacks. So, but imagine when you are living in a highly hygienic, you don't, the children don't go out to play, they don't get infections. So when the infections, or when they get a bug, the
Mm-hmm.
immune system overreacts. It's, it can't control, it's a sort of, so it starts attacking its own, colon, that they can't control and stop the inflammation. So,
Yes.
so that is, so that is also postulated to play a role in the increasing, incidence in. So that is a hygiene hypothesis. It has a role in bronchial asthma, but IBD also, definitely a role. So definitely, like how I said, the immune system, or overactive action on the immune
Mm-hmm.
system. And now all the diseases finally is coming back to the gut microbiome, the bacterial flora in the bacteria in the gut. Yeah, definitely. So the gut biome also has a role to play in IBD.
Mm-hmm.
Then some of the factors, bottle fed children, early use of antibiotics, and yeah, these are some of the points which are
Mm-hmm.
linked to increasing incidence of IBD.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. It's interesting what you say about maybe growing up in overly sterilized environments not necessarily being a good thing for humans, especially when it comes to our gut health. And more, we're learning that gut health is connected to so many other things in relation to our overall health. So very, very fascinating. Make the kids, I guess, go out there and run around and get a little bit dirty, and they'll catch what they're going to catch at some point, and hopefully it won't be too serious.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. It's a very controversial, thing, but definitely there is a active, discussion going on why children,
mhm.
early, the developing world, the IBD was not that rampant. Now
Right.
suddenly, it's going, really coming up in a big way.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, folks, 936-2626. Good morning to everyone. People seem to be intently listening. Good morning to Miss Marcia and everyone tuned in. If you have a question for the panel this morning, please feel free to give us a call. So I know that at some point we're going to talk about diet, and that's why we've got Michelle Pelster, who's a new dietitian at Health City, Cayman Islands. But treatments now, we've talked about some of the causes once you've identified. And how do you identify that it's actually IBD? Is that an easy diagnosis to make, Dr. Cyril?
I wouldn't say it as an easy diagnosis. There are
Mm,
some straightforward cases, and there are some very difficult cases, in spite of extensive, but we might be able to pinpoint that as an inflammatory bowel disease. Sometimes we find it very difficult to differentiate it, whether it is
mhm,
Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Sometimes, it can take a
mhm,
while before we diagnose, because even
mhm,
the Crohn's, as I mentioned, it can involve the large bowel. So
mhm,
so it looks Crohn's colitis and ulcerative colitis, yeah, looks mostly, like I said, the history definitely a
mhm,
big role. History gives us clues to the direction which we should take.
mhm,
Then we do basic workups to look whether to see the blood levels, are they having any deficiencies. The stool, there are stool inflammatory markers which we send for. In IBS, irritable bowel, you don't see
mhm,
the stool inflammatory markers significantly elevated, but in IBD you get the readings in 400, 600, in thousands, compared to 50s and hundreds in, the normal range being. So
mhm,
yeah, those are some of the basic tests we start off with. Then you will need to, have a colonoscopy or an endoscopy
mhm,
or a small bowel evaluation, based on what we are looking out for.
mhm.
And mostly it is based on tissue diagnosis. We take biopsies, the
Right.
pathologist looks under it, they look for changes which are consistent with IBD, and that is how the
Mhm.
diagnosis of IBD is made. Yeah.
Mm. So is it possible that someone might have irritable bowel syndrome and misdiagnosing themselves, and they actually have inflammatory bowel disease, and then that's something that can be confirmed via a colonoscopy?
Yeah, you usually, usually what happens is, irritable bowel, IBD gets misdiagnosed as IBS for long, yeah. So sometimes IBD take time to evolve, initial phases and all, it will just starts with cramps. When you do at that time, you may not find anything, but IBD can evolve with time. The subtle changes can evolve with time.
Mhm.
Yeah. So usually colonoscopy and biopsies, like I mentioned, colonoscopy for an irritable bowel looks really healthy, like a normal colon. But
Mhm.
in case of IBD, you see signs of inflammation,
Mhm.
ulcers, narrowings, bleeding, all the entire,
Mhm.
spectrum of changes.
Yeah.
So irritable bowel usually will not be diagnosed as IBD on colonoscopy, but a delay and misdiagnosis, all those things can definitely happen, because when the disease evolves with time, initially what we thought as irritable bowel, sometimes can evolve later, but usually
Mhm.
both are separate entities.
Mhm. Mhm. Hmm. Okay. All right. So let's talk now about treatments, because I'm sure people who are suffering from this bowel disease want to know, what are some treatments, of course, starting with medication. So possibly they can take anti-inflammatory drugs.
Yeah. There are special group, though anti-inflammatory is a broad term, there are
Mhm.
specific anti-inflammatory medications which help in, reducing the inflammation, so the mild diseases and all, mostly what we try to target is give medications to the bowels, intestines alone, rather than, having a systemic effect. But when it goes to moderate severe disease with, the curious thing about inflammatory bowel disease is it can affect other organs, completely unrelated, not the bowel alone. It can have present with arthritis, eye manifestations, skin manifestations. The liver can be affected. It's a entire that's what we call as a extra intestinal manifestations. Other
Mhm.
outside the intestine manifestations of IBD. So in all situations, traditionally it was the steroids which were used, in a very, and the steroid sparing agents, the immunomodulators. Now the treatment has completely changed. The quality of life, the treatment endpoints, all things have changed with the advent of biologicals are special medications,
Mhm.
highly highly effective in, and it has changed the entire spectrum of, and the scope of how we target the treatment of IBD. Earlier, while we were targeting just the symptom, now what we are targeting is complete mucosal normalization. We want the colon and the intestine to look exactly like a healthy person's colon. That's the target, and
Mhm.
it's achievable. And down 5 years, IBD is going to be a major game changer in the sense that new treatments are going to come up. So we will be
Mhm.
discussing something totally different 5 years down the line for sure, because that's what
Mhm.
happened 10 years down the line. We are totally
Mhm.
discussing now about biologicals. Entire IBD is about biologicals, because it has dramatically made a huge difference to the patient's
All right. Hmm. That's good to know. That definitely there's new treatments and a better management on the horizon. So, Michelle, let's talk about diet, because we know diet plays a role in so many aspects of our health. So there are dietary adjustments that can actually be made to help people who are suffering from IBD. What are some of those?
Okay, so with IBD, because we have got the ulcerative colitis and the Crohn's,
Mm-hmm.
both of them have their own set of things that we should be looking at in terms of diet and nutrition. But in
Okay.
general, something that spans across both is we want to be looking at our processed meats that we are consuming. We want
Mm-hmm.
to be avoiding those and restricting those because they can be causing more inflammation. The
Mm-hmm.
same with a very highly processed carbohydrates, such as some of our cookies, our doughs, many things like that that we buy. It's also very high.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me then to sugar. You also want to be avoiding sugar. You don't have to cut it out entirely because you still want a normal life, but you want to prioritize making everyday decisions on your nutrition based on healthy eating. not adding ultra processed foods.
Mhm.
And then lastly, the saturated fats. So our unhealthy fats. This also leads once again to processed foods, our deep fried things that are heavily coated in oils and fats. So we want to look at avoiding those things more and introducing a healthier aspect of nutrition into our everyday lives, which
Mm.
would be us focusing on whole grain carbohydrates rather than refined carbohydrates,
Mhm.
focusing on healthy fats such as the fatty fish, olive oils, avocados, rather than focusing on our oils from deep fried foods and our extremely fatty meats. And then once again, just looking at rather replacing our ultra processed diet with something more natural, more healthy, restricting the sugar rather, and looking at incorporating more fruits and more vegetables into our daily diet.
Mm. Processed meats. Let's talk about that because I feel like sometimes people don't know exactly what everything that falls into that category. So, what exactly are processed meats?
So processed meats will be many of the sausages that we find in store. So
Mhm.
you will see on the packaging, it will tell you if it is processed or not. So it can be a mixture of a bunch of different emollients, then fats, salts,
Mhm.
added spices, and then only the meat will come into play. And also
Mhm.
an example of this will then be bologna. I know a lot of people use that daily as well, incorporated into sandwiches and other food types. But we want to be focusing rather on getting your protein from a
Mhm.
better source, an unprocessed source. So you
Mhm.
can grill some chicken, you can steam some fish. That is a
Mhm.
much better option than buying an ultra processed protein.
Mhm. And normally you can tell that it's processed because the packaging, a lot of times, that it does come in. It's been preserved in a particular way. So things like your bacon, the cold cut section, all the sandwich and deli meats, you should be very, very careful of. One question that I've always had in my mind, is it different if I buy the deli meat, like the sandwich meats that are packaged, versus I go and have them cut it fresh for me? Is there any difference between those two, or is that one also processed?
So it would depend once again on the meat. So as you mentioned, bacon is actually not a processed meat because it's still in its original form, but it is very high in fat. So
Mhm.
that is something that should be restricted. But to get back to the meats that you spoke of now, like
Yes.
deli meats, so that would once again depend. Is it a processed meat,
Mhm.
or is it, let's say, a slab of meat? Let's say you are going for some cuts of beef,
Mhm.
then it would not make a difference for you, like
Right.
buying it at the deli or having it freshly sliced for you. But if it is a processed meat, a meat such as bologna, then I would say just try and avoid it as much as possible. You can
Okay.
still incorporate it if it's really something you like,
Yeah.
but the more processed, the worse it is going to be for the condition.
Okay. Yeah. Every once in a while, you like a little ham and cheese sandwich, or turkey. So, but with those things, there's also been a link, Dr. Cyril, to cancers. So, colorectal cancers with processed meat. So there's other reasons why you really, really want to monitor your intake of that, and especially for children. People tend to give them hot dog meats and I guess what they consider cheaper and easier things to just throw on a plate, or stick in a piece of bread or whatever. But yeah, something you really want to watch out for and try to reduce as much as possible.
True. Absolutely.
Mhm. All right, Damien has a question. He says, aren't a lot of these kids' meals also processed? And what about certain cheeses? So I'm sure Damien is thinking about the little packages that you get. I forget what they're called, but they'll come with like little crackers and a little side of meat, and maybe a juice box or something else. Not the healthiest option for kids, Michelle?
So 100% not the healthiest option for kids because that meat and the cheese in that package is processed. So
Mhm.
cheese in general tends to be very high in fat and in salt. So it
Mhm.
can cause some irritation and inflammation if you have too much of it. But a small amount every day will not make the biggest difference. You can still have a small amount every day and remain healthy and maintain your disease in a generally good manner. But I would say rather than buying those processed meals for the children that have the processed meat in it, that has a refined starch in it, and then also a processed cheese in it. So we would rather then look at how can I make this healthier for my child. So rather in that instance, make a sandwich for your children. Yes, Lunchables. I'm seeing.
Yes, that's what
yes,
I couldn't remember what it was called.
It is extremely processed, and I
Yes.
would not advise it. But rather than that, maybe make a whole grain sandwich for your child. Add a healthier option of a cheese that is not ultra processed. You can even look at a cheddar or a Gouda cheese, maybe even some mozzarella then, and add some shredded chicken or instead of using an ultra processed meat.
Very good. Shoshaka Zulu asking about the school lunches and the processed foods. Is that being addressed? So I know Shamari, we spoke about this, I think, just last week as well. The fact that, we need to think about healthier options overall for kids. And a lot of kids are eating at least 2, maybe sometimes even 3 meals, including a snack, in the school environment. So encouraging our schools to work closely with dietitians, nutritionists, to ensure that the offerings that are there are the healthiest possible options that kids are getting.
And to be fair, Sandy, my understanding is that quite a few of the schools do have some type of nutrition planning against the meals that they are serving. However, we're here with our team for whomever may need additional help in that regard, and we'd be more than willing to help to ensure that our children across the board are getting healthier meals in school, especially in the ones that we can control where it's provided by the government as well.
So someone says, good morning, Sandy. Good topic this morning as I suffer badly from this disease. Another person says, low fat has been debunked. Raw cheese is the best. But cheeses in general, you say, tend to be, salt and fat tends to be the biggest issue with cheeses. I didn't realize how salty they were. And somewhere I read that in one of my many nutritional readings. And I thought to myself, what I now do is anytime I make a dish like mac and cheese, which obviously high in calories, I'm sure, I then, we've got a bad connection there. I then omit using any salt at all, any added salt in that dish. Yeah. So we've got a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy. Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
I'm sort of just jumping on the last train here, so I'm not sure if what the specific topic is. I'm assuming it's just nutrition. Not sure.
It's inflammatory bowel disease.
Oh, okay. All right. That being said, for inflammatory bowel disease, is that something that the diet that she's recommending could also be applied to any inflammatory illness such as lupus or any people that are suffering with inflammation of joints and in general? And that's one question. And the other question is, I guess more general, is knowing our dietary habits here in Cayman, are there any things that are specifically beneficial to us or less detrimental to us? We love our place of starch and starch with a side of meat. So, and
yes. Repeat the first question again for me. The first question was
in regards to the diet that she's recommending for the inflammatory bowel disease.
Yes.
Any particular advice for those dealing with other inflammatory issues such as joints?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. So 2 questions. One is the diet that you're recommending, and I'm looking at this plate, and this looks so healthy. And I'm thinking, Michelle, probably a healthier diet benefits you in every single way, including all types of inflammation, right?
That is 100% true. If you've got a healthy, balanced diet, you are incorporating lots of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables into your diet, focusing once again on whole grain starches instead of refined starches, and just lowering your fat intake in general and focusing then on healthy fats in your diet. For most conditions, that will be beneficial. And for all general people in the general public, following diet will always just be beneficial, and you will reap the benefits of it over time.
Yes. And then the second question, Caribbean people tend to love lots of starches. So when you look at our traditional plate of food, and we know, we think we know what a good plate of food should look like for us, it's like, mashed potato salad, rice and beans, mac and cheese. We call lettuce and tomato vegetables. And then, we got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. So it's going to be a double whammy here in a second, but we'll have multiple meats. Like I'm going to make a confession here. Christmas time, East End, they just know how to throw down, right? So you go to like a family event. Shamari, I'm sure you can relate.
Yes,
There's like 6 to 10 meats alone available, because you got to have, maybe you might have turkey and ham. So you might have those kind of traditional, sort of non-Caymanian, but you need to have your Cayman style beef. You need to have a little bit of stewed conch, definitely some turtle, maybe some lobster, some Cayman style. It's like all these amazing options. And so, to my defense, it's a one plate game, but it's going to be a big plate. So, Michelle, I'm sure you've not yet been to a Caymanian food event, but yeah, this is, and oh my gosh, it's just so crazy. Can I do that just once a year? Can I just indulge at Christmas time and not worry about it too much?
So as long as it is a once every now and again thing and not an everyday thing, because you are going to have your special events, you are going to have some family events coming up, holidays, and you still have to enjoy your life. Remember, you're not eating like that every single day.
Yes.
So if you are now having, let's say, Christmas, and you are not going to be having many vegetables on that day, then remember, it is just one day.
Mm-hmm.
And you are allowed to enjoy these things in life as well.
Yeah.
If you can, try to include some vegetables in your plate, not just lettuce and tomato. But in general, try to include it. But if it is just one day, you are still allowed to enjoy things in life. Mm-hmm. But if possible, incorporate some veggies.
Yeah.
But one day will not cause a total.
And I think that's where in our minds we say it's one day, but then when we really think about it,
but let me add something to that.
The leftovers are the best. Yes, sir.
Generally everyone will agree that you need to have a balanced, healthy diet, and all those things. When we look at the evidence and medical evidence, so does any of the guideline restrict any particular food in case of IBD, or are there sadly the data evidence is lacking, so I know. So what traditionally has been told is you have, like Miss Michelle told, have whole cereals, wholesome food, something in the Caribbean we are doing right, in the sense that one prevalence paper published in Lancet, apparently Caribbean region have the lowest IBD incidence, the prevalence rate in the last, compared to 420, 430 for the North American, and the European, in that range. Ours was around 6 to 8. So, definitely the whole food, the whole cereals, the star, whatever, that's what I said. The grains, the balance of, definitely that is what I feel has changed when the, in the complete, the processed food, like Miss Michelle said, processed, the additives, the emulsifiers, the ice cream, emulsifiers, they, and definitely the intake of fat, the oils have definitely gone up significantly compared to the grains, the whole vegetables, the fruits, which was traditionally how all our meals were. So maybe, that was one reason why, the prevalence was detected to be low in, so compared to the 422 of out of every 100,000 population, it was 6, when they had the data published last. But we don't have any further data, but definitely something was going good,
Yeah. Well, Caymanians are going to tell you it must be that turtle meat. It's the national dish, man. That's what's good for you. All right. So reducing stress levels through mindfulness and relaxation techniques. So simple meditation can help. Learning how to perhaps live in the moment, not worry about the future or stress out about the past. So mindfulness being something that you can actually learn as a skill and really practice on a more conscious level. Following prescribed treatment plans. You see Dr. Cyril, who puts you on a treatment plan. It's important that you follow that. And of course, doing your regular checkups as well. It surprises me, Dr. Cyril, how sometimes we're all guilty of this. We get a diagnosis of something and we start to feel a little bit better. And then we just, go off the rails with it. We don't stick to the treatment plans. We don't stick to what the dietitian has advised that could potentially help.
True. The IBD is definitely, it's a chronic inflammatory bowel disease, that chronicity. Unfortunately, it's not like an antibiotic you take for 7 days and it's gone forever. Unfortunately that's not the case. So it's always, it goes through remission when the disease is completely quiescent, relapse, activity, a lot of patient doctor trust, back and forth. It's a journey, which we all have to take together. Definitely, it's a tough thing. And always, every IBD patients, at least majority of the IBD patients do go into a phase, wherein let me try stopping and seeing what happens. It happens, it's a very norm. So that's the first question when somebody comes with a flare. The first question we ask is, have you stopped the medication? That is how it has been taught to us. That is the first question we ask. But that is sadly true. But we are all humans. Even if you ask me also to take, I'm also sad.
Yeah. Staying hydrated and prioritizing gut health with probiotics were appropriate. Does the average person need to be? I know probiotics in probably the last 5 to 10 years has really been a golden word in health. But does the average person need to do anything with probiotics if they have a healthy diet? Do they need to add any kind of probiotic supplement to their diet?
Okay, I'll take that question. Okay, so again. We know that gut biome is really important. It has a lot of role, but the probiotic industry is low regulated industry. So it is not marketed as a drug. If you notice, most of these things, it never mentions it treats or prevent. Always it is an immune booster. It balances the gut. It's not a drug. So there is no hard evidence. We know, there are almost 1,200, 1,400 different phyla of bacteria, which is, growing in our gut, more than 10 raised to 14, bacteria. So it's very difficult for us to, replicate the animal models into, our, so healthy person taking a probiotic continuously, there is no hard data to suggest. There are hardly I can count them in the fingers, in my fingers, indications for taking probiotic which are backed by data and science. That is, when you get a normal diarrheal infection, especially in pediatric age group, you take a probiotic, it shortens the duration of the diarrhea. Then antibiotic induced diarrhea is another area. In some inflammatory bowel disease we use, sometimes in case of specific infections like Clostridium difficile we use. Otherwise, for a normal healthy person continuously being on a probiotic, no data to suggest yet.
Okay, very good. So someone else is listening to the program. They said, that's my doctor. She's been recently diagnosed with IBD. So yeah, lots of people dealing with this issue. Good morning to Renee. Renee says Rennie says balance is key. You can eat a healthy and delicious meal if it's balanced, i.e. when I feel for pizza, I eat a small salad or something high in fiber before and exclude any sugary drinks, a craving, but in a healthier way. So Rennie, I think that's important because Michelle, I'm sure you can testify that if you're overly strict and you kind of you're very regimented with your diet, a lot of times that backfires on you, right? So
100%. You still want to be enjoying your food that you're eating. You still want to be able to go out and eat out with friends and just have balance. Like the caller who sent the message and said, you just have to have balance. You can still enjoy things, but there should be balance. And as long as you've got balance, then you will be fine at the end of the day.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Ms. Lucille says, very good morning. I'm in class and I don't have this problem, but there's lots of different problems that you still have that you've got to watch. Michelle, thanks a lot. I'm ahead of you on the 1st. Sandy, you can enjoy all the Christmas goodies. I will have to stay in my lane for now. Oh my goodness. Moderation is definitely the key. Damien says that eating papaya seeds cleans your intestines. Is that true, Dr. Cyril?
Transiently, yes. But again, after 3 days, it's back to square one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. That's what, all the bubble, you can't, it's again, we are having the food, again, the stools build up, definitely. It helps in, digestion as well as, passing stools, any fibers for that matter, seeds, which definitely forms bulk for the stools and helps in constipation and clearing it. It's usually, if you don't take it in a regular way, it's back to square one after 4-5 days.
Right. Diana says, great discussion. Thank you. I've been suffering from depression. Exercise, diet, consistency, taking your meds, and counseling really helps. Find what helps for your mental health. Thank you so much, Diana, for sharing that with us this morning. The professionals are here to assist you. And so please, by all means, reach out to them. Mr. Denny Warren Jr., good morning.
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 I'm interested in the comments about the probiotics and the prebiotics. It's one thing to get bacteria into your intestines. It's an entirely separate thing to keep it there. And so you promote the growth of certain bacteria by what you eat, because they have to eat too. And so if you're not eating the fiber that those bacteria need to thrive, then they will not thrive. Other bacteria will thrive. And so if you want to have your microbiome be as healthy as possible, you need to eat a wide variety of fibers. So today you might eat Brussels sprouts. Tomorrow you might eat green leafy vegetables. The next day you might eat cabbage. Just look at all of the different vegetables and stuff that's available, and just get some of each thing as you go along. And because bacteria, each type of vegetable, each plant, have their own bacteria. And so what you're going to get from green leafy vegetables, you're not going to get from carrots. Because you have to feed them in order for them to grow. And it's what you eat that they feed on.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
All
Appreciate
right,
that.
care. Bye.
Very good. Shamari, if you're looking for a dietitian, talk to Denny. You might be willing to come on board. No, Denny's always well read, and I really appreciate him. Thank you so much. I do have a question that is not directly related to inflammatory bowel disease, but Doc, since you're here as a gastroenterologist, I want to ask about H. pylori infections. Now, I recently, we just came from South Africa, and I had, like I said, I do have IBS. So sometimes I'm pretty good. I notice that there are certain triggers that are definitely dietary. So whenever I have a little flare up of that, I go very, very basic with the foods that I eat as much as possible, get lots of fiber in particular. But one of the things that I was wondering when I was in South Africa, especially when I got to Zimbabwe, should you, when you do a trip like that, and maybe Michelle can chime in on this as well, should you just come back and do an H. pylori treatment, not knowing necessarily if you have it, but, you know, is it better to just do a treatment just in case, or should you confirm a diagnosis before you do any sort of H. pylori treatment?
Okay, so, unfortunately, H. pylori treatment involves multiple antibiotics. Okay, so the regimen itself is a 14-day course, involving 2 sets of antibiotics. And, so for me to convince someone to take it, itself is, because the multiple, so you will be taking at least 5 or 6 tablets a day to, eradicate H. pylori. So that's something which we don't want to take without,
yes, I thought there was a simpler treatment.
Unfortunately, H. pylori bacteria is a difficult bacteria to clear, very much prone for antibiotic resistance, so, so that is something which you can always, when you're having symptoms, you can check your stools for H. pylori antigen. And if it, that's a simple stool test. And if it comes positive, then, you're warranted in treating it. So H. pylori positive, if it is there, we tend to treat it because it is the only one infectious carcinogen which has been, one of the, carcinogen identified, one of the infectious carcinogen, because it is implicated in the development of gastric cancer.
Stomach cancers, yes.
Right, yeah. So it can cause gastritis. It can cause a lot of, flatulence, GI symptoms, very common, very easily spread, household. It can easily spread, water, food, but the treatment very prone for antibiotic resistance, and it's a 14-day course which you take, and 2 sets of antibiotic and another 2 medications, so a lot of tablets. So I wouldn't suggest empirically treating it like, how we take doxy, or when we travel for the traveler's diarrhea, we do take, sometimes when we travel to the Southeast Asian countries, we take doxycycline or something to prevent right, nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. And how accurate, there's a breath test as well as a stool test. How accurate is the breath test?
We don't have the breath test over here.
Okay.
The stool test, it is, but there can be false negative as well as false positive, in the sense that when you are on acid suppressant medications, sometimes the test may not show up positive. And very rarely, there are other, cross contamination, other bacteria also which can show up, as a positive thing. But usually we go by the stool test. If it's an H. pylori positive antigen test, we treat it. And if they have a lot of symptoms, endoscopically, taking a biopsy from the stomach, and the pathologist looks at it under microscope, and that is the one of the gold standard tests for diagnosing H. pylori.
Fantastic. All right. Wow. Learned a lot this morning, folks. And I hope you did as well. And of course, every month, Health City Cayman Islands has a special of some sort on. This month, in honor of the Seniors Celebrating Older Persons Month, which was actually last month, we still have the Senior Health Check promotion, which is a $50 US promotion. And then you're also running the low dose CT scan as well.
Yeah, so the low dose CT is the one that we're really pushing. You have to get your appointments, must be booked in November. So we only have a few days left. So just this week left. You have to be 50 years or older, have a history of smoking equivalent to a pack a day for 20 years or more. And if you meet that criteria, even if you've quit within the last 15 years, you're still a candidate. It's only available in East End as of right now. And your appointments can be taken up to December 15th. And patients, if you have a normal result, then just a coordinator will contact you. But if we need to have a follow-up, the consultant will have another consultation with you. And that is at no additional cost, just to make sure that we can check and see and make sure everything is okay.
All right. Very, very good. All right, folks. So this is an absolute deal. I mean, $50, you go to lunch and you spend more than that, to be honest.
US.
US, exactly. That's $40 about KYD. So yeah, that's quite a deal. So thank you so much to the Health City Cayman Islands team. Shamari, how did the Christmas event go? How did Santa's visit go on Saturday?
Man, it was amazing. We had a lot of families come through, a lot of kiddies taking photos with the gentleman that's my favorite Santa, Mr. Wayne, because
he's the real deal.
Yeah, and he's the avid basketball fan. So, you know, he and I, outside of Christmas, have a lot of conversations. But he fell asleep there with the kids, you know, there. So I have a nice picture of him sleeping that I'll send through for us to put up as well. But he always does a great job, and all the kids loved it. And as you know, we were introducing everyone to our pediatricians, and we'll have more of that in the future so that people can come see the facility and understand what we have to offer. And very shortly, when we start our executive health checks there, then that means you'll definitely be able to come and see Michelle as well at the back end of that health check to make sure that you have all your dietary plans in order. So we look forward to it.
Yes, absolutely. And
so just to mention that I forgot that we now have started all diagnostics at our Health City at Camana Bay facility. Okay. So now we have outpatient, you can have your doctor visits, you know, you can have the walk-ins, as well as we have our diagnostics. And within another week and a half, the full facility, all areas will actually be open. So obviously we'll need to come on the program with Dr. Benoit and outline everything, and probably we'll have to do another walkthrough for various areas with the camera, Sandy, so we can play that day as well.
Fantastic. All right, folks. Health City Cayman Islands Camana Bay location is continuing to roll out the various departments and services. So by December, I think everything should be targeted to be available at that location as well. You can make appointments at either location, whichever one is more convenient for you. So there are times when I'm like, yep, I'm going to go to East End because that's still, you know, I'm already halfway there, really, when you're in the Lower Valley, Savannah area. But if I know I'm going to be West Bay Road during the day or on weekends running errands, I can pop in to the other location as well. So, make your appointments, call in to the team at Health City, same number. So let me just remind you, number 640-4040, easy, info@healthcity.ky, and of course their website, healthcity.ky as well. Last minute question here, Ms. Vernita says, is IBS a part of this word always gets me, doctor, diverticulitis or fibromyalgia?
IBS is completely different from diverticulitis. You know, diverticuli, as you know, they are like small out pouches in the colon. So they are very common after 50-55 years of age. You know, very common to see diverticuli. Once in a while, these diverticuli get, inflamed. That's when we call it as diverticulitis, when you suddenly get pain, inflammation in that area. So that's diverticulitis. And IBS is something which, is always most of, more than 3 days in a day, in a week, for more than, it's a chronic lingering issue, which keeps on nagging you, that sort of thing. Yeah. Diverticulitis is like an acute attack. Wherein the diverticuli gets inflamed, and it's like an acute attack, not like a
All right, very, very good. Well, thank you so much. This has been incredibly enlightening, and always good to know that the team is expanding. So we've got a nutritionist and a dietitian now. Team Michelle was here today giving us some really good healthy advice on how to diversify that diet, make it healthier, and make some better options, and really just trying to make better choices as well. And I think especially when you have children, your choices matter because they watch your every move. Every time you pick up that Pepsi, trust me, Mom, you're going to have a Pepsi. I'm like, oh. I was like, okay, maybe some water. Oh, my goodness. So thank you so much, guys. Really, really appreciate it. To both of our newcomers, Michelle and Dr. Cyril, who are new on the show. Thank you for joining us this morning. It was a real delight.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, and Shamari, we're going to wish you luck with your team next
That's
week.
right. No, this week. This week. It's a short week. It's this Thursday, Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, yeah. So are they actually
Yep.
playing on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah, in the night.
Okay.
Nationally televised. Own the game, 7 o'clock in the night. Everybody's finished eating their Thanksgiving dinner and can watch the Dolphins beat Green Bay in Green Bay. Yeah.
It's a whole vibe. Thank you so much,
That's
Shamari.
right.
I can tell you it's one of my favorite holiday. It is my favorite holiday, actually, Thanksgiving, because having grown up in the States, you know, like I said, you're only going to eat that one meal for the day because it's massive. And then you kick back and all the football fans in the house get to sit down and watch football. I remember my uncle and my cousin, that's what they did while we were cleaning up or washing dishes, whatever. They really enjoyed some football. And then if I was lucky, later on in the evening, I got to watch a little bit of WWE, you know, so it was a win-win for everybody. So fantastic. Yes, love it. So yeah, and Shamari, I need to message you about the game. Remind me in case I forget to do so. Let me do that really quickly. Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So listen, we got a lot to talk about this morning. We're going to move right on. Keep it moving. Phone lines open 936-2626. So let's cover. Let's do our news. So on Tuesdays, let me tell y'all where's the news, Sandy? So on Tuesdays, because our guests come on first, we want to give them priority. And Health City Cayman Islands are here at 7:30. Now the show technically starts at 7:33. I think some of you have noticed that now over the last couple months. And that's because Bobo has when they made the switch to the BBC News, there's a little slight, so we end like a minute or two earlier ahead of 9:30, sorry. And then we have a later start by just a couple minutes. So we've got our news segment. So let me cue that up so we can get caught up on the morning news. And then there's some of those stories that I definitely want to talk to you about, including the accidents that happened yesterday. Those are pretty wild. So stay tuned, folks.
Good morning, I'm Ada with Cayman Mile Road's news headlines for Tuesday, November 26th. In this morning's headlines, major changes could be coming to the Cayman Islands abortion laws. The Auditor General reveals troubling findings about government financial reporting, and a former restaurant manager faces prison time. Let's turn now to our top story.
Good morning. Our top story, a troubling report from the Auditor General reveals major concerns about how government departments are handling their books. The numbers are eye-opening. Government bodies needed more than 360 financial corrections last year, totaling $354 million. Auditor General Sue Winspear's latest review found widespread problems with how public agencies report their finances. Here's the breakdown. Over $100 million in liability adjustments, $72 million in asset corrections, and $37 million in expense modifications. According to Auditor General Sue Winspear, most public bodies submitted their financial statements for audit by the statutory deadline, and the audit opinions have generally been good. However, the quality of financial information submitted to my office by public bodies needs to improve. The report also found that many agencies failed to properly disclose important financial commitments or explain why they went over budget. Adding to the concerns, public bodies weren't adequately prepared for new accounting standards, causing delays in the audit process. The Auditor General's findings raise serious questions about financial oversight in government departments at a time when taxpayers are demanding more transparency about how their money is being spent.
A major shift could be coming to abortion laws in the Cayman Islands, following a landmark report from the territory's Law Reform Commission. The commission has found that current restrictions on abortion access may violate fundamental human rights protections under the Cayman Islands Constitution. The comprehensive review, which began in 2017 at the Attorney General's request, examines sections of the Penal Code that currently make abortion illegal except when necessary to save a mother's life. According to the Commission's findings, these restrictions potentially conflict with several constitutional rights, including protection from inhuman treatment and discrimination, as well as the right to privacy. The report reveals the real-world impact of these laws. A 2022 survey found that nearly one-third of women respondents had obtained an abortion, with 18% doing so illegally within the Cayman Islands using medication, while 48% were forced to travel overseas for the procedure. The Commission's recommendations could pave the way for significant reform of the territory's abortion laws, though any changes would still need to go through the legislative process, where it may find extreme resistance from Cayman's largely Christian fundamentalist.
A former restaurant manager will spend 15 months in prison after stealing nearly $19,000 from several Subway locations. 32-year-old April Angeles Bautista pleaded guilty to taking more than $18,000 while working as an assistant manager at Subway in 2019. Court documents show the theft was uncovered when franchise owners couldn't meet payroll, discovering that no bank deposits had been made for nearly 3 weeks in February of that year. Bautista, who came to the Cayman Islands from the Philippines in 2017, was responsible for handling cash deposits from 4 different Subway locations. She had been hired on her sister's recommendation. In court, Justice Cheryl Richards noted the serious breach of trust, while acknowledging Bautista's early guilty plea and previous clean record. While Bautista's sister has repaid $1,500, the majority of the stolen funds remain unrecovered. The franchise owners told the court the theft had both financial and emotional consequences for their business.
Now turning to a few road incidents. A motorcyclist is fighting for his life this morning following a serious collision in Georgetown, while the driver of the other vehicle faces DUI charges. The crash occurred just after 10 o'clock Sunday night on Shedden Road near Printers Way. Police say they had observed the motorcyclist driving dangerously in the area moments before the collision. According to officers at the scene, the motorcycle collided with another vehicle, throwing the rider from his bike. Police immediately provided first aid before emergency services arrived. The motorcyclist was rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries, where he remains in critical condition. The driver of the second vehicle, a 20-year-old Georgetown resident, was arrested at the scene. While uninjured in the crash, the driver faces charges of driving under the influence of alcohol, along with other driving-related offenses. They have since been released on bail.
Monday afternoon saw several notable road incidents, including one involving a clean gas propane truck. Emergency crews were dispatched to clear a potentially dangerous accident site after a man ran into a delivery truck on Austin Connolly Drive. Sources revealed that the man was given a breathalyzer test where he blew over 3 times the legal limit at the location and was taken into police custody. Multiple agencies responded to the scene, including the Fire Service, of Reg, and RCIPS, working together to secure the area and safely remove the propane truck. The road was temporarily closed in front of Taco Cantina while crews worked to eliminate any potential hazards during the vehicle removal. The propane truck driver was transported to hospital with back injuries. The extent of those injuries is still being evaluated. In another incident later in the evening, police and emergency services responded to a concerning situation Monday evening near the King Sports Center, where an individual appeared distressed. Officers were called to the scene after receiving reports of a person exhibiting concerning behavior in the public road area. According to witnesses, the individual was approaching vehicles and appeared to be in an altered state. Emergency medical services were also dispatched to assist with the situation. Witnesses reported the person may have needed medical attention. This incident caused traffic delays during the evening rush hour. Initially unsure of what was going on, several eyewitnesses recorded the incident.
Those are your headlines for this Tuesday morning. Before we go, a reminder that police are asking anyone with information about Sunday night's motorcycle collision to contact the RCIPS traffic unit. Road conditions are clear this morning following yesterday's incident in East End, but please exercise caution during your morning commute. Join our WhatsApp news channel for all of these stories and more. Thank you for starting your day with us.
All right, folks, welcome back. Thank you so much for your continued feedback and how we can improve and make the news segment better. Good morning to Miss Joyce. And Damien says British Brainwashing Channel. That's what the BBC stands for. What a hot mess. God of Egypt, good morning to you. Damien says, hope it's not at 28 weeks. What's not at 28 weeks? Oh, the new abortion. Yeah, well, we'll have a discussion on that. I'm still trying to process the information and look at some of the data, but I was a bit surprised actually at the data, to be quite frank and honest. Much more prevalent than I even thought that it was. So interesting indeed. Morning, Mr. Andrew. Jim says, why does it take 5 years for sentencing? For what sort of case? Normally it doesn't take 5 years, but depends. There are some cases that do, draw out a bit longer. All right, so let's talk about, there's a few things today. The first one is this young lady, the Subway manager. I don't know what to say, except that if a person has a propensity to have what we would call in the Caribbean sticky fingers, well, you're not going to know that, I suppose, as an employer until they do it. And then you got a problem on your hands, right? So this young lady, her name is, hold on, let me get you the proper name. She decided to steal from her employer, 32 years old, April Bautista, a former Subway assistant manager, sentenced to 15 months in prison for stealing nearly $19,000. Oh, you mean the date of this? So to be clear, this isn't a situation where, so she actually, I think what happened is that it actually put her in a payment plan, and of course she didn't continue to pay, and then they handed it over to the authorities. But it was discovered in 2019, but that doesn't mean that, it started right away. I don't know exactly when they filed the charges and when she went to court. So the sentencing, it might have been something more recent. Courts were shut down largely for a good part of COVID. So I think there's a number of factors here why she is still in the court system. But they gave her the opportunity for making restitution. And it said that her sister repaid $1,500, but no further restitution was made, which is quite unfortunate because she could still have a clean record to this day if she had done the right thing. But, people who steal, they don't often do the right thing. So what can I say except what a hot mess indeed. So, she will have to now serve 15 months. She is a mother of 2. And of course, I'm sure for her children, this is going to be a very difficult ordeal. I think one of the children is quite young because I saw some photos of her where she was doing like a photo shoot a couple of years ago and she was pregnant. So that child is, still relatively young. But this is what happens, folks, when you put your own families at risk with some of your very, very poor decisions. Such a sad situation. I was reading some of the comments, not all of them. And, some people say, oh, well, there's certain people who are more likely to steal than others. Well, I can tell you that Sticky Fingers knows no nationality. We've seen our fair share of Caymanians who unfortunately will get involved in that and themselves will steal. And then we've seen, non-Caymanians who also steal. It's just unbelievably sad. And when you steal for your employer, even if your employer is larger, I think people misunderstand what damage that does to the employer. I mean, Subway, they're like a pretty good sized company, I would think. I don't know exactly how many staff they have employed, but because of this theft, they had issues making payroll. That's unbelievable. They've got their bills and their obligations just like everybody else, and they're counting on their money being there when they need it to be there. And of course, because of this young lady and her sticky fingers, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So, wow, I was shocked to I was shocked to hear that. Quite unfortunate, really. All right. Well, maybe a jail sentence. Hello. You got to turn down that radio when you call, honey child.
Okay, morning, Miss Sandy. How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
Oh, I can't miss your show. You use my wake up in the morning or the wake up show in the morning.
Oh my
Sandy,
goodness. Yes, sir.
I have a little problem. Not me, but some friends of mine, and I need you to see if you can get any answers. Okay. Nova Scotia Bank. There is some people but was working on the island here for a time, and they went back to their country for a while. And when they came back, they were told that they didn't use their money. So, and now these are poor people, and they said, Nova Scotia, tell them, we're sorry, but your money is gone. And it's not only, it's happening to some people on this island as well, I understand. I don't know.
So where does the money go? Where does the money go?
Okay, that is what we want to find out.
Oh.
That's what we want to find out. Because the lady came back on the island. She went off for maybe a year or something. But that is what a bank is for, right? To save your money, right? And then the lady came back and went to the bank to get her a couple of shillings that she had, over $2,000. And they said, you don't have no money in the bank. You were gone too long and you didn't use your card.
That doesn't sound right.
No, but it's happening to people here as well that is working here on a weekly basis. Nova Scotia Bank in particular, they told me about five people that told me about it, and they want to find out if you can find out why is that? Because that's why people putting their money in a bank.
Yes, I mean, obviously, I can't call and ask and inquire about anybody's specific situation, but here's the suggestion that I would make to them is I would suggest they actually reach out to SEMA if they're not getting a satisfactory response from the bank, because once your account has gone dormant, the bank should notify you of that, and then it's supposed to take quite some time before a dormant account is made unavailable. And not only that, but the funds have to be advertised. I know they used to put some sort of publication out where they listed all the dormant accounts, and then people had the right to reach out in relation to that. So something sounds a little bit fishy there. I don't bank with Scotia Bank.
This is a poor person, It's a poor. These are poor people that was working here,
right?
But some of them went home. And I know one lady in particular. She went home to take care of her dad, which passed away during the COVID. But she was here working, and she had some savings. I think like $2,500. And when she came back now, said that the bank told her, "Yeah, you were gone too long." So I don't understand that.
Yeah. Wow. That it sounds fishy. I mean, I gotta tell you the truth, it doesn't quite sound right. But without
several people have talked about it.
Yeah. So what they need to do is they need to reach out to the bank. I would do so in writing, so you can get a response in writing. And how long did you say she was off island for?
Like 2 years.
For 2 years. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I would request in writing some sort of details on exactly what happened to that account. Now, I know Scotia tends to be one of those banks that it's kind of difficult actually to get a hold of anybody there, like a real person.
Yeah, they send you Cayman Bay, and then when you go Cayman Bay, they send you somewhere else.
But hopefully somebody from Scotiabank is listening this morning and they might be able to have some additional details on who will actually answer their emails over there and who they can reach out to. But yeah, they're not supposed to, your money just doesn't disappear into thin air. So, they have to account for the money. They have to account for communicating with customers if they're actually going to be closing dormant accounts, et cetera, et cetera. So tell them to try to reach out, put it in writing. And Alric is on the live. He says dormant accounts are published in the Cayman Islands Gazette. I knew they had a publication somewhere. I think at one point they used to put it in the newspaper as well, but since nobody reads the printed paper anymore, I guess the Gazette it is. So thanks, Alric, for sharing that. But yes, your money just doesn't disappear. Magdalene says maybe she was not using the account prior to leaving. And just a word of advice. I mean, if you're leaving the island, even for a couple of years, these are the types of things that you probably want to sort out. You know what I mean? You don't just leave Cayman when your money in the bank for years and not communicate with the bank, not do something with your money, something. But yeah, I think if you're not, I don't know what the dormant period is. In fact, just yesterday I was saying that one of my accounts, well, I think it's a student saver account, has gone dormant. And so CNB, they're very, very good at communicating with me. And they sent me a notice saying, hey, this account has just gone into the dormant status. Refill out this form because you got to, fill the form back out. And then they'll activate it again. And you do have to make like regular deposits. There has to be some action on the account for it to not go dormant. And I don't know what the dormant stage is. I'm trying to remember now. I can't tell you offhand, but yes, I am aware that it happens. And it's even, like I said, happened to me because, the student saver accounts, I got to find time to manually go into the bank to do that. And I try to do everything online. But anyway, speaking of that, somebody else was telling me they're with another bank, and I'm going to put this tip out there for CNB. Hopefully they can jump on it. Apparently there is an option to, on their system, I forget, I think they said they were FCIB, but when they logged in, it popped up that one of their accounts, and it wasn't even one that was online, that they had online access to, but it notified them on the online portal that they had an account that was about to go dormant. I thought, wow, use technology, banks, to communicate with your customers, because that is fantastic to be able to log in. It goes, boop, this account is about to go dormant. Prevent it from going dormant by making a deposit. Amazing. Notifications in advance of the account going dormant. So I thought to myself, honey child, that would be fantastic. So CNB, talk to your IT people. Don't let FCIBs, pass you in the IT department, because we know you guys are top notch when it comes to IT for sure. But yes, this person said, Sandy, I got a notification. And the crazy thing is, it was not an account that I had online access to. So I like that. So speaking of that, I think I need to action that today. So let me put that on my to-do list, honey child. Oh no, I lie. You see, I can't lie in CNB because they're literally the best. So they actually gave me advance notice. They said on the 18th that it's about to go dormant this month. Please see the attached form to complete and return as soon as possible to reactivate the account. What do they mean it's about to? But why would I need to do a form if it hasn't already? Let me clarify this with my bank. You said it was about to go dormant, but sounds like it already has. Or the form is for what purpose? The form is, what am I writing? Or the form is for what purpose? Yeah, I think I think that's a little bit of a mixed message there. So let me just clarify. Because if it's about to go dormant, shouldn't I just be able to make a deposit? But she said I have to fill out the form. What a hot mess. So much paperwork. Nat B says the banks will take your money if the account is dormant due to no activity. Some banks don't practice good faith. I don't think that they get to pick and choose whether they practice good faith. I'm sure they're regulated by SEMA on when they can do that, how they do it, notification periods that are required, et cetera, et cetera. So we can't leave it up to people to act in good faith. Irvin says the banks will not allow you to add anyone's account if they're not here on work permit. I'm not sure I understand that. The banks here will not allow you to add anyone's account. What do you mean add anyone's account? If they are not here. Like add money to their account? I'm not quite sure I understand that, to be honest. Lavana says no, a transaction in 2 months, the account could be dormant. Lucille says not only Scotia, credit union does it too. So yeah, I mean, all banks, your account will eventually go dormant if it's not being used, but then it's a question of what happens when it goes dormant. Magdalene says the bank should refer her to some government department, finance, treasury. It is the law. The funds should have been transferred to government. And I mean, before it took years for them to like move when I say years, I mean like 10 years or something ridiculous for them to dispose of the money in dormant accounts. It's not quite as simple as, 2 years later, your money disappears. Gabby says, and when you leave, you have to tell the bank that you have left and that you still want to use the account. So, yeah, I mean, I would have thought that these people themselves should have had some communication with the banks also. All right, Didi says, so why is it that people from the Philippines come here and commit crimes, seem to miss judgment? They're never jail, sentenced, or gets a police record, and are always given opportunity to repay. Look at the other Filipino woman you featured with regards to false work permits and stealing her friend's bank card. Well, I'll tell you what, I think it's a combination of things, but I don't think it's necessarily unique to Filipinos. So, you know, there's a lot of people who end up in court for stealing money who were given the opportunity, including Caymanians, Jamaicans, and I guess everybody else. A lot of times employers will try to help you out. You know, they think, okay, you made a really, really poor decision. You know, if you pay it back, let's just call it a day. I don't think that that's ever a good idea because there's something inherently amiss when someone is a thief. You know what Aunt Lotta used to say? A thief and a liar, honey child, them two, those are dishonesty offenses. They will send you to jail. And so I find that when someone has demonstrated that they have sticky fingers, as we say, believe them the first time, and they're probably going to do it again. So it doesn't seem like she had any extenuating circumstances why she was stealing, except, you know, she wanted to live a better life than her assistant manager salary was paying her. You know, getting photo shoots done and all this kind of stuff, I guess, costs money. This is so messed up. Like, it's just crazy. So my recommendation is call the police as soon as you notice something awry. Good morning, caller.
Yes, hi. I wanted to talk about one of y'all Cayman residents.
Okay.
That I was going with for 7 years, and I had put out a visa for them.
Sorry, that you were what with for 7 years?
Talking to them, going with them for 7 years.
So you were in a relationship?
I was in a relationship with them for 7 years, and I had put out a visa, a K-1 visa for them to come to the United States to get married. After finding out about them being over here, being sneaky and calling other people,
so let me can we just back up just a little bit? We want to make sure we're understanding what's happening. Okay. So you met this person. How did you meet them?
I met them through an online dating site.
Okay. All right. So you meet them online. Yeah. They're living in the Cayman Islands. Are they actually from the Cayman Islands or are they from somewhere else?
They're from Jamaica. Her name is Keisha. She works on West Avenue, braiding hair.
Okay. So hold on. So you meet a lady on online on these dating sites, whatever, and the two of you start talking with each other, and you enter into. So when you're talking, because I mean, I think these things can be tricky. All of us watch 90 Day Fiance, right? When you're talking to her, are you? At what point do you become exclusive when you're having an online relationship?
Oh, we come exclusive because
no, I said at what time? Like 6 months, a year?
Yeah, within like 6 months, I was down there, and the whole 7 years, I was back to the Cayman Islands. I was in Jamaica meeting her family, so it was like a back and forth thing for me to come there and see her.
Okay,
on a regular basis.
Yeah. So after 6 months, you get in a serious relationship. You're exclusive, and then you're visiting here, meeting her family. I'm assuming she's here in Cayman on a work permit.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So yeah. All right. So you decide you're going to get more serious, and she's going to move because the K1 visas when you have a spouse or fiance that is going to move to the U.S. and you're going to get married. You're going to, make that level of a commitment. So she says to you that she wants to come to the U.S. and get married.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was supposed to happen. I picked her up September 29th of this year, and we were supposed to get married November the 16th. Of this month.
So September was when she moved to the States with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have proof of all that.
All right. Okay.
So she moves here, but she was acting kind of like different. And I work 2 jobs, so I have security cameras in my house, and sometimes when I call her, she wouldn't answer. So, I would reach out to her on the cameras, but she's always talking to somebody. Or like 10 o'clock in the morning, she's outside on the sidewalk talking to somebody for like 2 hours. So I'd be asking her who she's talking to. And she would be like, oh, my mom or dad, or whatever. But like 2 days before she left, she came in the house and she was talking to somebody like real sexy and was like, oh, well, what do you want to do? I told you I was going to the bathroom or whatever. Why are you listening to my background? Stuff like that. So I called her and I said, I've been trying to call you. What's going on? And she was like, nothing. I said, are you on the phone? She's like, no, I'm not on the phone. Well, she has 2 phones that I brought, So she said, oh, I'm on the phone with my sister or whatever. Like, I ain't never heard you talk to your sister like that, So it was like
that'd be weird if you,
a whole blowout.
Yeah.
So she ended up leaving like the next day when I was at work. And I tried to call her phone, see what was going on. She never answered her phone. So a couple of days went by. So I went to her TikTok and saw all this stuff that she was posting up and different things like that. So I went to TikTok. So some of her people from Jamaica have reached out to me and told me that she was engaged, just got engaged in maybe August before, in August.
Oh, and where's the person that she got engaged to?
In the Cayman Islands. Her name is Melissa.
So she got engaged to another woman here?
another woman there.
Oh,
her
Lord.
name is Melissa. Found out they've been going together for 2 years. And Melissa supports her financially. And I think she works some type of, she's employed at some type of place on West Bay.
Lord have mercy.
Finding that out, there was another girl that reached out to me and from Jamaica that she was talking to.
God.
That she wanted her to leave her girl of 9 years to talk to her, but they had been friends for a long time. But she wanted to pursue her, and she was telling me that every time that she would visit Jamaica, she would come there, and the girl would pick her up from the airport. You know, they would do whatever they do or whatever, and everything. And she told me, she said, I knew nothing about you. She never told me anything about you until she said she reached out to me in October and told me that she was getting married.
Oh my God.
And she said that she reached out to her again after she left me and said that she wanted to be serious with that girl. And
wow.
I was just like mind blown. So
yes. Oh
I
my God.
had to reach out. Yeah, so I had to revoke the visa and report her as coming over here on false pretense. And recently I talked to somebody else in Jamaica that she was telling them that the girl Melissa, she just using her for financial reasons. And I guess it was like her birthday or whatever. And the girl had wanted to come down to Jamaica to celebrate her birthday, but she didn't allow her to or something. And she said that she was going to have some type of surgery. That was not true. She didn't have no type of surgery.
Oh my God.
The girls from Jamaica had sent me videos of her partying, everything else. Come to find out, she had more girlfriends in Jamaica that she was talking to.
But how many people she can be talking to?
Evidently a lot.
She's a hot mess.
It was a lot.
She's a hot mess.
A lot.
Wow.
Yes, a lot. And after finding all this out, I guess the girl, she's a very manipulative. Keisha is a very manipulative person. And the girl that who she's engaged with now, I guess I don't know if I guess she doesn't believe it, but I have all the proof and evidence that she was playing all of us.
Right. And how many of you in total? Because I lost count. I'm going to be honest. She was collecting girlfriends like I collect shoes.
She had told one of her friends in Jamaica that she had talked to a girl in England. She had said that the girl Melissa brings her food every day, breakfast, lunch. I mean, all of that. She is like she was just bragging how she's using this person. So I told her, it's like, to me, it's like 5.
Wow.
And I found out on one of the pictures that one of the girls that she was dating, that's the one that she celebrated her birthday with, or whatever. And it's crazy to me because her mom is a ordained minister.
But that don't mean, let me tell you something, honey child. That don't mean nothing to people.
Everybody around. Yeah.
That don't mean nothing to these people.
Bringing a lot of.
Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah. So what would you like? I mean, you tell me this mix-up story, and as interesting as it is, how can I help? Really is the question. You need my advice on what to do, or what is this? I mean, you sound like a mature woman, so I think you probably know what you need to do.
Oh yeah.
Which is just to kick
I
Keisha to the curb.
I mean, like I don't got my lawyers. I don't got my lawyers involved. They helped me revoke the visa.
Yeah.
But now being in the situation that I'm hearing from her Jamaican friends, she's telling me that the girl Melissa knew about the whole situation, about the whole marriage situation. So now I have to take more legal actions because you, as a living in the Caymans, y'all thought that y'all was going to set me up so y'all can use the visa or whatever as y'all own purpose. So now I have to pursue it even further and bring Melissa into the legal action as well, because you knew about this. It's like y'all planning and plotted on it.
So you think that this was more of a concerted setup between these two women than anything else? What a mess.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from the people from Jamaica. So now she's going to be, you're going to be facing legal actions as well.
Oh my Lord.
Because
girl, can I just tell you something? When you hear stories like this, in the Caribbean, you got to take out a plate of food. And I just got me some nice crispy breadfruit that I got to be eating because, girl, this story is all kind of crazy. But keep talking, honey Joe. Wow.
Oh, yeah. And not only that, and she's on a work permit, and she got online businesses and things like that. And I thought that you're not supposed to even have that if you're under a work visa. But she got 2 online businesses. I found that out and everything.
Well, I mean, listen, you know this song called Hit and Run by Shensia? You familiar? You familiar with the song?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, there's 2 things you can do here. One, you just make a clean break from this woman because she sounds like she's a hot mess and then some. You just leave her alone.
Yeah.
And you just walk away from the whole thing. Having learned a lesson that some of these online relationships people are not genuine. A lot of these things, they're just looking to use people.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. And that's exactly was her.
Yeah, chalk it up as a bad experience because you're going to waste a lot of time. I mean, I hear you talking about your lawyers and stuff. You're going to waste a lot of time and energy on this girl, and it does not sound like she's worth it for one hot second.
She ain't worth it. She's not worth it, but after 7 years for being there financially and stuff like that, I want to make sure, no, it don't hurt no more. I want to make sure that she never does this to anybody else again. So, we're getting the papers to send to the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, and everything else on this situation, and pull up all the other evidence as well, because this person, it seemed like, she just trying to use people to get to the top. And coming to find out, she had another business for what is it called? A bill payment center.
Oh Lord, in Jamaica? That's girl, those people be scamming people. So listen, she sounds like she's probably a scammer in more ways than one.
Yeah. Yes.
I think you should run. If I were you, it sounds like you need to run.
I didn't run. I didn't run. Yes. Not only that business, salon business. She was talking about, because I heard her talking about square footage, and she was like, "Oh, I'm talking to my dad. He was talking about getting a car." What do you need to talk about a car with square footage? And she was telling a friend in Jamaica that, I just bought thousands of dollars of hair, which actually, when she left me, she went to New York to be with her brother, and her sister, her mom, came on a visitor's visa, which they was only here because they were supposed to come here for our wedding.
Lord Jesus, what a mess. All right. Well, Lee, what you say her name is Melissa? Somebody said they think they know who Melissa is because they saw her with a Spanish girl recently, but there's a lot of Melissas in Cayman, so who knows? This is what I would recommend.
Melissa, I think it's she works at a restaurant on West Bay, but Keisha works at Western Avenue. She braids hair.
Eastern Avenue.
Is it Eastern Avenue? Yeah,
Eastern Avenue.
Hair. Yeah, and
Keisha.
But her real name is Geisha Dolls.
Oh Lord, what a mess!
And she lives up to that name too.
What a hot mess.
Geisha.
So listen, I mean, you can certainly, this is kind of one of those situations like, well, what you're going to do, except try to move on. But, once you've sued her and whatever, if you want to send those documents, because, we like to have our proof all lined up, you can certainly send that to us by email or in the WhatsApp. And, we'll take a look at it and see what's going on. And
girl, I can definitely send that to you.
Yeah,
I can definitely send those documents to you today, but then we have to go back in with my lawyers with Melissa because she evidently knew about it. So now this is getting even more deep. And if you work in the Cayman Islands, a resident there, like a permanent resident, that makes you more of a scammer than her too. So now I have to pursue you as well.
Wow. I mean, somehow I doubt they have anything. So when you say pursue them, you're going to expend money. And Keisha and Melissa are just going to go on scamming more people.
I got it. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I got the money. It's worth it for 7 years. It's worth it. After everything, it is way worth it. It's way overdue.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It hurts when you find out that someone's been using you.
It did at first, but after a while, it's like after finding out all the information from your people in Jamaica, like that's wild. To me, it's kind of sad at this point.
Right?
You can't come up on your own. You have to use other people and use them to get where you're going.
Yep. And I'm going to give you a word of advice. Now listen carefully to this, right? Unfortunately, that happens a lot all over the world. Like I made mention to 90 Day Fiance, these people be using people just to get that K1 visa, just to get in the United States of America, because that's supposed to be the land of milk and honey.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing in the Cayman Islands. They come here and enter all these, fake marriages of convenience to be able to live in this country and have the opportunity to work, et cetera, et cetera. So you always have to be on your guard. That's the thing. Like you never know with people, but you watch and you listen, and it's harder with long distance relationships to catch up to what they've been up to. Yeah. So, she was able to fool you for a really long time because it was a long distance relationship.
For a really long time. She was being a whore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yeah. Well, allegedly. So you send through your evidence, and until then you say allegedly. But send it through, and we'll certainly have a look at it. It's an unfortunate situation. I'm sorry it happened to you because I think all of us at some level have been in a situationship where people haven't been entirely honest with us. And as you rightfully said, it does hurt. So, hopefully you learned some lessons here as well.
I have, and I think I take it as God really opening up my eyes. So it's a real lesson learned at the end of the day. But God sit. What they say, God sits. He sits high and looks low. So
All right.
You know.
We have a few people who are calling in. Are you open to answering any questions? If somebody wants to call in, because I don't know if they have a comment or a question, but
oh yeah.
Yeah, all right. Those of you who were calling, sorry. Call back. All right, hold on. I'm gonna join this call. So hold on one second. All right, so we'll merge the calls. Good morning, caller. Do you have a question or comment for the young lady that's calling in? Hi, morning.
Yes, I just really want to encourage her, that, we all get ourselves into a place of foolishness and being made a fool of.
Yes.
And the best thing we can do is consider where we are a classroom. What can I learn here? And I would just encourage her. Yeah. Don't let money be a price tag for her. Or let anybody be a price tag for her. I encourage her to find value within herself.
Yeah.
That is precious in her naked eyes.
Yes.
Don't allow or feel that you need some purpose in life. Because it won't happen. Yeah. And if you don't value yourself first, don't expect somebody to provide that value. Yeah. Good morning.
Thank you for the. Just hold on, caller. Yeah. Well, thank you for those encouraging words. Very good.
Thank you so much. Be an eye opener. That you step out of a foolish place and make sense. Be your guidance now at this time.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those positive words. All right. We've got another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, caller. We of the Cayman Islands are now invested in your business, ma'am. So we'll ask if you can just hang up and join video link. We want to share and express your pain with you. Come back on video.
All right. Well, she's calling. She's asking if you can do a video link, but to be clear, you're not calling on WhatsApp. You are calling direct. So what a hot mess, honey child. I don't know what to say. Yeah. It's sad. But, the previous caller had good advice for you.
Yes.
To just kind of try to move past.
I don't know who that was on WhatsApp. I tried to do the WhatsApp, but I couldn't get on there for some reason. But I do appreciate the positive feedback and everything. Because I was a genuine good person for 7 years, never cheated, never did anything, was dedicated. I always was there, so I was always taught to be good to other people and be good to yourself as well. But I guess that she wasn't raised in those type of values, even though she keeps saying her mom's an ordained minister, but, I guess, the evil comes out in everybody. So.
Yeah,
but God just opened my eyes.
People have to make their own decisions. That's for sure. And I think it's unfortunate that Keisha is. Somebody said Keisha's always seemed to be mixed up in pasa, but she has made some poor decisions, and I guess she'll now have to live with the consequences. And
she definitely do.
Yeah. And I think the best thing for you to do is to just simply move on from that mess. It just sounds like it was quite an experience.
Yes,
I don't know how. I have no clue how Keisha was able to keep up with all those relationships. To be honest, my God, what the hell?
She did. She was a real player to the end. She was a real player to the end, because even the girlfriend in the Caymans, not the Caymans, in Jamaica said, well, I guess we all sort of played a role in her life. That's what the girl told me. So.
Oh my God. What a hot mess.
Yeah, she hopped from one to the next.
Everybody wants to know what Keisha looks like. You can send us a picture of Keisha and all the details, because everybody's curious. I guess they probably want to make sure that they're not being played by Keisha. Because maybe she's playing a couple men too.
Oh yeah, well, I sent pictures in. So how do I do it? I sent the pictures in.
How did you send it? By email or?
I sent the marriage certificate and everything. So how do you need me to send it?
You can send it on WhatsApp. Otherwise, email might be the best way. tips@caymanmallroad.com. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I definitely would do that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I tell you. I haven't heard of such a hot mess in quite some time, but you just never know.
Yes, it's definitely a mess. Yeah. Melissa, because it seems like, you know, she's a genuine person too, and she's getting played. And from what she was telling the people in Jamaica, describing her, that she is not even her type. Like, she dates studs and stuff like that. So she's using that girl for her money.
Oh, so she has a type then?
Yeah.
What a mess.
Yeah, she likes studs.
And what's a stud exactly?
Almost like, you know, girls that dress like almost boyish. Like
okay. So
like,
more masculine. More masculine. Okay.
Masculine.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
More masculine.
That's so crazy. And her mother knows she's doing all this stuff?
She brings them around the family.
The ordained minister's okay with all this? Oh my God.
Ordained minister. And that's why I say you cannot proudly say that your mom is an ordained minister and she knows what you're doing.
Girl, the mother in on it too.
No, y'all all wicked. The whole family is wicked.
Trust and believe. They're in on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because no minister is going to allow all this messiness around them. They would tell Keisha, don't bring all these women around me. Honey, child, what the hell you doing?
Exactly. There you go. There you go.
Oh my God.
They smiled in my face and everything, and had my godson. We was coming there every in March because my godson and I have a cousin and my godson. My godson and her sister shared birthdays together in the same month. So we would come there and they would celebrate that birthday together and everything, and smile in my face and everything.
Wow. Well, all I can tell you is I know 7 years is a long time, but thank God you got out before that wedding ceremony took place, because then it would have been a whole other situation.
Thank the Lord. I praise God, because it ain't not but a 90-day thing. So you have to leave. You have to leave up out of here with the 90 days. You don't get married.
Because, girl,
you got to go.
That might have gone from 90 days to murder mystery on Lifetime Movie Network. You know what I'm saying? These things can turn nasty real quick. So just thank the Lord that you found out.
Probably for me murdering somebody.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! Just be grateful that you found out her true colors. And you know what is so crazy? Because you said she came there in September. It didn't take you long when she started seeing her in person to see her true colors. So that's why. Listen, that's why I'm not into. Oh, her credit might have ran out because she was on that long distance call for a hot minute. That's why these long distance relationships, y'all can't be. Don't fool with them, honey, chill. Because let me tell you something. Next thing you know, what a heat. You're in a long distance relationship. That one was on the call for 30 minutes. Wow. Listen, don't fool with the long distance relationship stuff. 99.9999999% of the time, these people are just using you. And I'm not surprised that some of them live in Cayman. Meeting people on a dating site is very, very tricky because the caliber of the dating sites now. Back in the day when we used to have, what was that really good one that made you do a personality test and they based the matches on science? Now it's all a booty call situation. You're meeting people on Tinder and Grindr and Caribbean versions of that, whatever is out there. And these people are not serious. They're just looking to play people and play with people's emotions. So I'm sorry, certainly that she got played, but Yeah. Oh my God. What a drama. Gabby told me I must call her back. Listen, Flo not giving me no long distance calls for free. So we gotta watch the bills around here. What a hot mess. Lord Jesus, take the wheel and then some. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Yes, sir. That's where it's at. Anywho, like I said, I wasn't really quite sure, what she needed help with. I guess she'll send us the additional information. I'll send a little text message here. Hold on. Yes, honey child. It's not nice when you find out that people been using you. So every Keisha, I know, Jamila says I'm going to go look for Keisha on Eastern Avenue. So every Keisha on Eastern Avenue now, good morning, caller. Hello.
Sunday morning.
Morning, my dear. How are you?
That is the reason why I'm a Sunday. I will continue to do my little work in Cayman Island. You know, how cheapest it is. I will, because it come honest. That's why when I see people out there with whatever they have out there, my eye don't red for it, because most of them, you see how people get money, Miss Sandy.
Yes. Scamming people.
You're scamming people. The Sandy, do you know that? Why don't sometimes you see these? That's why sometimes you see these houses were burned down and all kind of things. It's because it never built honesty, and people don't believe in honesty,
Yeah.
So they'll get it easy, and it's gonna go easy.
Yeah.
So sometimes you see those people have this whole heap of things.
Yes.
And you have your little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, God bless you with your peace.
Exactly. That's something my aunt used to tell me. Don't look at what people have, because you don't know how they got it. You don't know what they did. If they steal, if they crook, you don't know. So don't watch people.
No. Listen, when I first come to Cayman Island, I started to come here in 2000. I'm Sunday, when I come here and get my first job, I used to get $50 a week. And the reason why I used to get $50 a week, the lady, may God bless her, this is a lady from Eastern named Sandra Rankins. That lady took me in, and she looked at me and she said, I cannot pay you, because what I am working, I'm not working nothing, but what I can do for you, you can live with me. And that lady take me in, and I live with her, and every week she give me $50. And this when I went back to Jamaica, I could buy a washing machine, I could do a lot of stuff in my house with $50 what I used to. Yeah, may I tell you. So Miss Sandy, I don't make my eye red off of what I see people with, because most of them do not get it honestly.
Yeah. It is sad. And then they give everybody, people in the comment section saying, well, that's Jamaicans for you. They always scamming people in relationships.
Not
and this
all
not.
of them.
So
not all
it
of
gives,
them.
it gives everybody a bad name. It's like.
Not every Jamaican. Not every Jamaican.
Everybody's saying, call her back to make her ear out. So I have pictures here now. Somebody did send me the pictures of these mix-up people. But what a thing. Lord Jesus. Thank you, my darling. Wow. So I'm looking at what is that? Commercial something of Virginia. So this is Keisha. What a mess Keisha in. Oh, she had DM you guys. I wonder if she was confusing us with you guys, because I don't remember seeing this. Let me ask her what our Facebook administrator, because child, sometimes we get stuff. So maybe she was messaging another platform thinking it was us. But what the What the heat? Anyway, yeah, somebody sent something now from another platform. So I guess they need to send. So, oh, the wedding invitation and everything? Oh my gosh. Damn. Wow. Well, I'll wait for her to send the pictures so it's not like a collage like this, but yes. Oh, the woman looked like she was telling the truth for real. I tell you what, morning, caller.
Good morning. Tell me straight, you must send me some of that fried breadfruit or something because you're making me hungry this morning. I don't see the
Oh my God.
Oh my God. She better get a cat. Take care, no, take care.
What you say? What you say? Get a cat for company because these people not using.
All right, you can tell I must get a cat. No stress.
Ay, something was going on with the kitty, but it ain't that kind of cat. What a heat. All right, Keisha, what do you have to say for yourself, girl? Strong Will says scamming is all over the world, not only Jamaicans. Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, Jamaicans, they got 3 million people. So even if 25% of them scamming, that's still a whole lot. But all over. Yes, sir. Girl. So call him back. Hold on. Good morning. I was trying to send you the link if you wanted to join in so you wouldn't have to pay for the call, but you could join in the show link. Did you get that link? Hello?
No, but this is me calling back. My phone had hung up.
Oh, no, I was telling you, I actually sent you I texted you a link that if you wanted to join the show so that you don't have to pay for the call, you can join in. That's just data.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but no, I was able to do it on the WhatsApp. But yeah, I'm gonna send that picture to you right now.
Yeah,
and I just want to let you know that I did.
Apparently, another news platform did get it. I don't know if you were mixing us up, but you sent it to them. And so that guy just forwarded it to me, but it's like a collage thing. So yeah, if you send it to me, I can pull up the individual pictures. But girl, I see the wedding invitation. Oh my God.
Everything, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But I think that was that playing her, Melissa's playing all along, or I don't think if she knew, because from what I'm hearing, that she was saying that she was telling people she was leaving to go on a work permit in United States and stuff like that. And I'm just like, no, that's not true, So, but I did have to file underneath false pretense. So I had to, I didn't have to. My lawyer wrote up a letter stating everything and what was going on after what we had found and stuff. So under false pretense, but now that I know the whole situation, that apparently the one that she's engaged to, Melissa, I think she works at Miss Pansy's restaurant or something. She was in, they was in on it together. So yeah, so now we gotta pull that up, and we gotta send that off to the Cayman Islands and stuff as well.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Jamaican embassy and stuff like that. Yeah, because she came on over here under false pretense. It wasn't for you just to get married. It was for whatever y'all want to do, and y'all want to go. I guess she wanted to travel back and forth. She wanted to move because I live in Virginia, and she wanted to move to Atlanta.
I hear Atlanta is hot Atlanta. That's why people be trying to go there, because that's a different vibe.
Yeah.
She
So
wasn't
after,
looking for any good churches in Atlanta, that's for sure.
no, she won't. So after knowing that all these people that then surfaced, that's been reaching out to me, that she has been talking to and stuff like that, I done made me a doctor's appointment because I'm just like, I ain't been with nobody but her for 7 years. So you'd have been with all these people. I need to make sure I'm right.
Oh, yes.
You know, so
yes, girl. You never know.
yeah, so it is mind blowing. Like, I brought her a car, everything.
You bought her a car?
I bought her a car. I paid her rent for several years. Utility bills, food, groceries, clothes. I used to bring stuff down for her to sell, like thousands of dollars.
Now you might have been complicit in her helping her commit a crime. If you bring it down stuff for her to sell, were you declaring that you're bringing it down for her to sell?
No, I didn't know that she was selling it until she told me about it. She told me about it. Yeah. I didn't know until she told me that she was doing it. And after that, I didn't bring down nothing. I would just bring down like handy down clothes for her nephews, her mom, clothes, you know. And I also sent her money to her mom when they needed it and stuff like that. Like, it was a lot. But now, supposedly she was bragging to the people in Jamaica that, oh, Melissa pays my rent and everything else. She recently had got, she had backed into a car and she thought I was going to pay for it. I told her, you should have been watching where you was going.
Girl, I got a man listening to the radio. He said you can buy him a car too. He won't cheat on you.
Oh, no. No. So apparently Melissa, I guess she was bragging and said Melissa had paid to get her car fixed or whatever. And I'm just like, I feel so sorry. I feel so sorry for her because she's just in the dark. She's listening to what Keisha's telling her, but she's a very good, you know how they say somebody can talk the panties off for you without you even knowing. She's that type of person that she's very manipulative, that she would talk her way out of a situation to make you believe it. And I think that's what she's doing.
Sounds like she might be a narcissist. I mean,
yes,
honestly.
Definitely is. She definitely is.
Wow.
She definitely is. But I'm definitely gonna send y'all that picture so y'all can see. I'm definitely gonna send it because it's a hot mess. I just pray that one day that she get herself together and be on the right track and be honest and live a honest and clean life. You know, because I come from a good family and I didn't deserve to get treated that way. Being that I have a big and kind heart, you know. But I mean, sometimes you just live and you learn.
Definitely.
From your mistakes.
That's the difference. Because I think, you know, we all are going to go through things. We're all going to have situationships and whatever. But the unfortunate thing is there's too many of us that simply are not learning. That's the bad part. You know, we keep doing the same shit over and over again. And that's unfortunate.
37 years old. 37 years old. And to come to find out, she wanted to have a child, but come to find out, she was telling Melissa she wanted to have a child. The girl that was dealing with her, she was telling her she wanted to have a child with her. So it was like, I said, so she's basically telling us all the same things.
Lord Jesus, please don't mix a child up in this hot mess.
Can't take care of herself. Basically, she's not taking care of herself because everybody else is taking care of her. So you can't take care of yourself. You cannot take care of another life.
No, she's not ready. Lord Jesus, no.
She's
just
not.
Oh God,
she's definitely not.
Yeah.
So the pictures that you sent the other guy, Keisha's the one wearing, it looks like sweats, like gray looking sweats at the airport?
Yes, that's when I picked her up from the airport.
Okay.
That was the day I picked her up from the airport.
And the document you sent, it says something, the Commonwealth of Jamaica, the marriage register. So that's where you were applying for the marriage license?
No, it should say the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Uh-huh.
We went down there. Because both of us had to go and sign the documents and stuff like that.
Okay. And who is the person in the pink top that has black and pink stripes? Who is that? There's a picture.
Oh, that's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay. I see you drinking some coconut water in one of the pictures and stuff.
Yeah, that's when I went down to meet her family for a family reunion and stuff like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But recently we went to Panama, like this year. In March, we went to Panama City. Or whatever. So it's like I'm regularly coming down there to see her wherever she's at. So I'm just thinking now, like, okay, you've been with Melissa for 2 years. So what are you telling her when I'm coming down there? Because you're with me.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, it's interesting. And, Caribbean, I don't know how much you know about the Caribbean, but there's a lot of homophobia in the Caribbean, especially Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. I'm so curious as to how open her family was. Did she ever tell you what her experience was like coming out to them as a lesbian woman? Because she seems to be dating so many women and be very, very free with it. I wonder, especially with her mother supposedly being an ordained minister, they seem to have been very accepting of that aspect of it too, which is a little bit, different.
They're fine. They're fine with it. I think the biggest thing was her dad. I saw her dad when I went down there for a family reunion, and she introduced me to him, but she didn't say, we was in a relationship. She said that, it's harder for her to tell her dad, but I'm pretty sure that if you running around Jamaica doing all those stuff, it probably got back to your dad at some point. So he knows, and he's probably waiting on you to tell him. But she said that when she came to the States that she told him or whatever. But I don't know how true that is, because if you lie like water. So everything come out your mouth. So who's to say on that? But yeah, her family definitely know that she was in multiple relationships.
Wow.
And her brother, he's on TikTok, and he does like music videos named Zario. I guess he's popular down there in Jamaica or whatever. But yeah, they definitely knew, and that's why as a Christian, my family wouldn't allow me to. My mom would stop me in my tracks and tell me, that's wrong for doing that. They wouldn't allow me to do anything like that to multiple people. So as you being an ordained minister, and she says it with pride, my mom is an ordained minister, but what is that when your mom condones what you're doing? My mom wouldn't condone it. My mom just a Christian, and she would not allow me to do anything like that.
Well, I guess they were all getting the benefits from you. So everybody was happy to turn a blind eye, really. So that's messed up, but that seems like that's exactly what was going on. You were the cow that they kept milking,
Yep, it sure is. But then at what price? Because at the end of the day, you got to pay for that when you got to go to your maker.
So
wow,
it's on them. Yeah, she has always said that she has always had a cold heart, a black heart. That's what she said. She's always had a cold and black heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, my dear, I'll keep an eye out for the pictures. And I sent you the link. Some people really want to see what's going on here. But anyway, we're going to be wrapping up here in a little bit. But I did send you the link on Facebook Messenger as well. But wow,
right.
that's crazy.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
but
you.
I think she's going to
Yes.
try. I think she's going to try to entry back into the Cayman Islands.
Okay, so where is she now? She's in Jamaica?
No, she's in Florida.
Oh, she's in Florida.
But she's going to have to go back to Jamaica, but she's going to have to, she's going to try to come back to the Caymans, but I think her work permit, it should be revoked. I don't know. I'm not for sure, but she's going to try to make some way to try to get back. So that's why, I got to make sure the Cayman Islands and them know to not even let her back in.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, send me what you have because she sounds like one mix-up situation for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, my dear. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, you're most welcome, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So, yeah. I guess we kind of know who Keisha is now. We've seen pictures. I'm going to get the proper photos, though, because these were sent to me from another media platform that she made contact with. Apparently, she did reach out to us, but it was just messaging on Facebook, it looks like, or Instagram. I'm not sure. Looks like Facebook. But anywho, I don't know what to tell y'all except this is some straight up madness. Wow. I feel sorry for you, Cynthia girl. Sounds like your little heart was broken. These people are using you. So yeah, Keisha living her best life. Look at the weave and the nails done, hair done, everything done. Traveling a foreign America. Me going to America. That's all some people want is to step foot in America, and then they are done for. They're going to be taking advantage of every situation. All right. I think we better wrap it up. I got to clean off my desk. I got paperwork to submit to CNB. Ay, caramba. But the lesson, as somebody was saying, I can't remember who that was, the previous caller said, listen, just earn your own in life, folks. Don't be trying to live off of people. There's nothing like doing it on your own. Honest to God. I can't imagine selling. Y'all be selling your souls, your banque, you put everything for a couple dollars. And it's just it's not worth it. Earn your own money, be your own person and be honest with people. There are a lot of people who are okay with open relationships. Like they don't care. They're not looking for anything all that serious. You sex them up and whatever, but just tell people what they're in for. Like that's the thing. Is you should be honest. And so I think that unfortunately, obviously, Keisha was not being honest with Cynthia. She thought she was in an exclusive relationship. And that's not cool, right? What a hot mess. That is not cool at all. And you hear what Cynthia said? That, listen, these are the real world implications of a situation like this, because even now Cynthia's like, oh, she had all these women. I need to go get myself checked out. Ew. But yeah, y'all be around here doing the same thing, sleeping with Tom, Dick, and Harry and not telling Tom, Dick, or Harry that you're sleeping with the next one. And then, next thing you know, y'all passing along all kind of venereal diseases and stuff. Cayman has a very high rate of STDs for that same reason. Y'all really need to do a better job of just, relaxing yourselves, chill. Oh my God. Ugh, it's next level crazy. I don't know what to say. I'm shocked on a good day, much less. Anywho, wow. Y'all done gone and made me speechless this morning. Well, thanks for the breadfruit and the ripe plantain, Miss Stacy. The plantain was nice and ripe and delicious. That's all I can do now is eat because my lips can't say much else. OMG. Oh my God. What a hot mess. Oh, honey child, can we just talk about Friday's show for a quick minute? You know, I had to put that lion man in his place on Friday's show, right? So many times I sit back and I listen to people talk pure BS. And I'm like, you know what? Just ignore them. But they say the best revenge in life is to live a good life. And honey child, I'm over here in my little corner living my best possible life. Oh, my God. Love my life. Right? I want to make some brownies. Now my life is so good. Did Johan hear that? Yeah, I'm going to make some brownies this morning. Anyway, the crazy thing about it is that, you know, there are times when you got to stop people with their lies and you got to put them in their place. And when I decide to go that route, I don't hesitate. Now, y'all heard the man. You know who I'm talking about. Y'all heard him claim that he wasn't talking about me. And if I have something to say about you, I'll say it to your face. That's funny. Because he sure was talking to people afterwards about Sandy. She called me and I only repeating what I heard, but you just said you weren't talking about me. You see, you're not as bright as you think. Keep it up, brother. You're not going to be ready for it coming your way. And it's going to be in a legal sense of the word, too. What a mess. You have to be careful, folks. The people, just because they have a platform, who sit in front of you and tell you pure nonsense. They don't fact check. They don't verify. Like I said to the next donkey that we called, you know, I don't have any reason to sit here and make up stuff on people. That's not, even when we have our biggest sus moments, and you guys know we've had some epic ones, that's not me making up stuff on people. That's me talking the cold hard truth at another level, but those things are verifiable. They're facts, right? So, you can't build a platform where you just sit down and talk pure lies on people. Oh, you know, I've researched and looked at Wayne Panton's property holdings. Bitch, please. Wayne Panton has declared everything. All you have to do is go to Legislative Assembly. It's a matter of public record. And you can get it and you can see what the man has declared. And then in one breath you say, he's not doing nothing illegal, but, you know, you try to undermine people's reputation. And one of these days, the same man who gave you $5,000 to start your platform is going to decide to lawyer up and sue your behind. When he's had enough, you can see what's coming. And we know you're not got nothing, but you're putting your wife and the family home at jeopardy. And that's why he hasn't done anything yet. Because you see, there are some people who are still guided by morals and principles, right? And we knows that this boy not got nothing. He not got a pot to piss in, like I said last week. And that the only thing a court would do is look at the family assets, which means his poor wife, who's been through enough already with him, would be going through even more stress. So that's why Wayne hasn't slapped this boy with a lawsuit yet. But everybody has a limit. And if you continue, you get what the duck get, or you get what the turkey get this time of year. So keep it up, because I know he gonna be getting a little something from me here shortly. This person listened and said, I'm very afraid of you. I'm so intimidated. I'm at work and cannot log off because I'm so afraid of you. I can't log off. What kind of bullshit is that? You know, when I heard that, I had to laugh. Johan's so afraid of you. If he was afraid of me, why would he be calling into the show like that? Listen, we get that people don't want to end up on this platform. And that's easy. You just toe the line. You don't break the law. You don't steal from people like this Filipino lady. You don't be like Keisha, eating everybody pom-pom. And then you're not going to end up on Mall Road. Nobody not going to be calling you if you're walking a straight line. So, but that's the average person doesn't go around talking about, oh my God, I'm so afraid of Sandy. No, because if you just like do the right thing, you will never end up on this platform. You know, every day, the thousands of people Mall Road would never talk about because they're living their best lives. They're law-abiding citizens. They're not stealing from anybody. They're just relax. But when you out there lying, cheating, talking about you're a political commentator. You're an expert on everybody, but yet you're lying on people. You're getting money under the table to support a particular initiative. It's people like you that should be afraid because you will get exposed. You know, you seem to forget the day that you called me begging me not to put up your, I've lost count how many DUIs because, that family's trying to take my child away from me. This is an outside child now. And poor little me, my little softy heart, I actually felt sorry for him. I'm like, nobody should be kept from their kids. You know, we all do shit, but your children, like they hopefully make you a better person. That's how I see things, right? Come to find out he was just using my little softy heart. He didn't intend to. Yeah, they don't want you to see that child because you're not right as a man. You're not got your shit together and you playing games. And not everybody gonna put up with you like your wife has. A lot of our people, we need some serious coming to Jesus moments. And the sad part for me is that when you have, let me be very honest here. Come from nothing, right? I ain't not got no family name that y'all gonna be like, oh yeah, I know that name, whatever. Nobody has given me anything. I've worked like really hard to get where I am. And when somebody like that, right? Abject failure, quite frankly, has probably had more money go through his fingers than I have, but hasn't been able to manage it because it's all about the flashy lifestyle. It's all about, I just want the fastest car and this and that and whatever, and to try and project this image to people that is so fake and so false. Instead of you investing in land and property and all this kind of stuff, right? And trying to level up yourself for the benefit of your children. No. So you've never made any improvements throughout your life. And those of us who have, we come from the same poor background as you. I understand he came from a very dysfunctional home. Everybody in the neighborhood was like, oh, it's a pile of cursing and carrying on and whatever. Yeah, I feel that vibe. I know what that's like. But you must learn to do better. So it's like they judge you by their standards, right? They can't do no better in life. And so they feel like everybody else is going to be the exact same as them. And that's not true. There are people who can learn from their trials and tribulations and mistakes and family history and not repeat that. And so there's a certain, when somebody doesn't do that for themselves, then they always want to keep you in that place with them. So, no, radio is off at 9:30. So let me just say this much, right? There are times when I won't tolerate it. There are times when I have a very short amount of tolerance for foolishness and for certain people. And I think y'all have seen it for sure. You know what I'm talking about, honey Jill. Somebody said get him to take my paperwork to CNB. Oh God, I'm telling y'all, this foolishness about, CNB gave you such a hard time. Listen, I appreciate CNB. They are amazing. If that was a hard time, I don't know what a hard time looks like. I had the easiest time possible. I just submitted everything. I think it was about 2 or 3 days later, I got a little phone call. Sandy, we all good to go. When can we do the closing? I'm like, God, honey, chill. What you saying? It's so sad. I'm just trying to stay focused on me, to be honest. because I have so many things going on that these things serve as a distraction, an unnecessary distraction. But here we are, because now this is political season. So, they're going to come after candidates, and by extension, they're going to come after everybody else that they think is somehow, affiliated and connected to the candidates and stuff as well. So let's talk about one more thing. 2 more accidents yesterday. The one with clean gas was crazy. That guy blew over 3 times the legal limit, ran into a clean gas vehicle. Obviously, that could have ended really badly. I don't have to tell you all that. You hit a diesel tank, propane tank. Yeah. So apparently, in order to even move the vehicle, they had to siphon off the gas or whatever to make sure that it was safe to move. I was like, oh my God. So there's a process of, you can't just take a propane vehicle and move it just like that. That was in an accident. And then Odell was out last night in the streets down by Lyon Center and the Miller Street, kind of acting crazy and stuff. So what can I tell you about Odell? It's an unfortunate situation because I know that Odell is suffering from this is drugs. So there he is in the Miller Street carrying on. He was actually at the meeting that they had Prospect the other night, and he started carrying on at the end of the meeting. And at one point, I thought they were actually going to have to call the police to remove him. But this is drug-induced psychosis, really. Straight up. This kind of breaks my heart because I do know Odell a little bit. And this is someone who has a lot of potential, smart guy when he's not on drugs. And so this shows the decline of where you can go. Unfortunately, when you start hitting that crack pipe and stuff, folks, don't mess with drugs. It will mess up your mind, your body, your soul, everything. He has just gone down. I mean, I remember when he had his little business going during COVID, he was helping people with like applications and submitting work permits and all kind of stuff. But, a lot of things were going on with him. He just couldn't keep it afloat because, again, some people are just looking to make a quick buck and they're not thinking about the sustainability of their business model. Yeah, was he actually driving that van? I think so, Damien, which is crazy because he's always on something. The dude is like a drug addict. So I would be shocked if you're doing crack and getting behind the wheel of a car. That's a dangerous combination. So here he is, like literally stopping traffic and hitting on people's hoods and stuff. Now I got to tell y'all, one woman messaged me and she was like, Sandy, listen now, Caymanian or no Caymanian, if I was there and he started hitting on my car going on like that, I was going to run him over. And I was like, oh shit, you did not just say that. I think she actually posted on Facebook. This woman was like, I am not playing the too many things going on in these streets. It's dangerous out there. I would not be playing with him. I would run him over. I was like, Lord Jesus. I mean, kudos for being honest, I guess. But we have some more footage of him. Oh, he was down by Jake Scott as well? Oh my God. Is that him? Or is that somebody else? So he needs help. And somebody has to step in and get him. Yeah, that looked like him. He somehow made it down to the Jake Scott intersection. I think he lives Prospect, But yeah, somebody's got to get him help. And this isn't the thing here is some people are like, oh, mental health. Well, sorry. This isn't just a mental health situation. This is a mental health situation that actually is brought on by drugs. So that has complicated his life even more so. So, you know, you got to first address the underlying issues, the drugs. And even with the drugs, there's something much deeper that is going on here. That again, when people can't be who they are, when people can't be themselves, that is, you know, that's where it gets a little bit crazy. I don't know how to tell you all this, but there are a lot of people who are living in our community and on our island who have to live a life of pretense. And this is where it's really messed up. Because, and this is one of the reasons why in my heart of heart, I support the LGBTQ plus community, right? Because I can't imagine you being one thing and feeling like you have to pretend that that's not who you are. And, you know, if you're interested in women, you have to date men just because you don't want the societal backlash and the pressure and all this sort of stuff. Or, you know, you've had it beaten into your head about the whole, you know, Christianity thing and God's going to judge you. Well, that really ain't my business. If you're an adult and you are dealing with other adults, God may judge you, but that's between you and God. That ain't between me, you, and God. That's your business. So I think that people have a right to be who they are, and they have a right to be happy. And as long as it doesn't involve children, it doesn't involve animals, and the people are consenting adults, I don't really care. I support them in being their true selves, you know, and they're wonderful, amazing people. They run the spectrum. Like this morning, okay, obviously these two ladies they were in a lesbian relationship. The lady who called in, she sounds nice enough. I mean, I don't know her. I can't speak beyond that. But the other one clearly using her. And that's unfortunate because those people, again, run the gamut across the board. It's not just gay and lesbians. It's all over the place. You know, the other day, we were talking about this stalking case with the guy there. What's his name again? Morgan. And Morgan's stalking his gay lover, right? And somebody was like, oh, yeah. In fact, my mother-in-law was saying, oh, these gay people, they just take it extra. And I had to look at her and say, excuse me, what do you mean by that? This is where our prejudices now as individuals and communities come out. Oh, it's like when they break up, they can't let go. I'm like, girl, please. With all due respect, mother, you know how many straight people have that same problem? Pick up the newspaper any day of the week in Jamaica, Honduras, Cayman, the United States, Canada, and you see people killing each other because they've left relationships. You see people stalking each other all the time. This has nothing to do with your sexual orientation. You know, this is about people. Sometimes you get in a situation and you feel like you can't let go of that situation for whatever reason. So it doesn't make a difference what your sexuality is. All people are capable of crazy behavior when it comes to relationships. And sometimes you just need the space to be able to put space between you and that situation or that person for you to properly be able to move on. So I know that there are a lot of people who are struggling with the fact that they can't come out and say, hey, I'm gay, I'm happy, leave me alone. I'm not interested in men, or I'm not interested in women. I just want to do me and whatever. So that really pushes a lot of people into depression, into drug use, into all sorts of undercover behavior. You would be shocked to know. I remember a couple of years ago, a guy called me quite late at night, almost midnight. And you know, my husband, he's like, which man called you? Who does this call you at midnight? And this person was saying to me, it sounded like they'd had a few drinks. And they were like, oh, Sandy, I want to tell you something. I'm like, okay. I'm like, once you not telling me you're in love with me, honey child, we can be okay. Because I'm a married woman now. What you doing? And they said, oh, you know, I like men. And I was like, you do? big time society person, folks. Big time businessman, society person. I'm like, oh, you do? Now, I've learned in these situations, because the first time this happened to me, I was in university. Young man by the name of George decided I was going to be the first person he was going to come out to. And in the middle of telling me that he's gay, he runs a red light and almost kills us both. I was like, dude, listen, this is nothing that you got to kill me over, okay? Your secret is good with me. But he wanted to actually tell his parents, and he was afraid. George was afraid of how his parents were going to react. And so this was causing him like a lot of stress. You know, he's new at university, getting to experience life a little bit, getting a little bit of freedom away from his parents. And he's like, I've always been, and I'm looking at George saying, George, I don't know about your dad, because men can be a little bit clueless. But I said, George, I'm pretty sure your mama knows, honey child, because I could tell. I'm like, I'm sure your mom knows. And so just tell her. The best policy is honesty. You know what I'm saying? Just be you and tell your mama exactly what's going on with you. I'm sure she's going to understand. She's going to love you the same, but that's not always the case. Some people, families disown them. It's a hot mess. So when this guy called me, K-Manion now, I was going to remain calm, just like I did with George. I'm like, don't overreact. You know, so I said, oh, really? And he said, yes. And I said, okay. I'm assuming you haven't told your wife? No, wife and children, everything. I can't tell my mom and this and that. I'm like, oh, you people are big adults in your 30s and 40s and you still worrying about acceptance from your parents. So I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not sure exactly what you're telling me because what am I going to do for you? I said, you know, if I were your wife, I would want to know. I'm just saying it mightn't be easy. It's not going to be an easy conversation. And she's probably going to leave you. And you have to accept that that's going to be the reality. But I would tell her, because here's the problem. And he admits to, oh, yeah, you know this person. I know you know them. I've hooked up with them. And I'm like, okay. Y'all are out there hooking up with people. Just like this young lady, Cynthia, was saying, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know if they're using protection or how they're getting it on and whatever. And I'm like, you're hooking up with other men and you have not told your wife that. And I'm sure you're having sex with her. And I don't know what kind of protection you're using between the men you're hooking up with and with your own wife, but you're putting her at risk, her life. I'm like, you gotta come clean and tell her. It's not my business. I'm not getting that deep into it, but I would want to know. Yeah. Anyway, the person has never brought it up again since, because we're not. I know the person, but we're not close. Like when I see him, I say hi and whatever. But I was a little bit surprised that they decided to tell me. I'm gonna be honest with you. And honey child, I will have to take that one to the grave until they decide to come out. And I have friends who they've never had the conversation with me. They've never said, Sandy, I'm gay, I'm bisexual, whatever. But I know. I'm like, I know what you are, honey child. And I'm not here to judge you in that way. You know, I just wish that they could be who they are and that they could just be truly happy. But I also know K-Man, and I know how judgmental of a society that we live in. And there's a lot of young teens who are struggling with their identity as well. Some of them are self-harming. They're committing suicide. They're doing all this stuff because, once again, they live in a world where the LGBTQ plus community is looked down upon, and you're a sinner and you're this and that. And, you know, it's very, very unfortunate. So, you know, I just hope that people can have, going back to the situation with Odell, I just really hope that people can have and find their happiness, because this is deep. This isn't just about the drugs. This goes way, way deeper than that. This is about someone who cannot be their true self for fear of what other people will think. But look at you now. Because of that, you're not walking around the middle of the street. People are going to talk about you anyway. They're talking about the drugs. They're talking about the psychosis. They're talking about all the people that you owe money to and all these other issues. So, people, find your happiness. And if it doesn't involve hurting anybody else, then be you and do you. That's the best advice that I can give you. So, Cynthia, I'm going to send you the link on the WhatsApp because, this opens a lot of questions and stuff. So this person says, yes, Sandy, sad the foolishness that's going on and cheating people of their hard-earned money. After hearing that, it was told to his son they were going to rob his father. Oh, this is a situation with Fred. Oh, he's a hot mess. Apparently somebody said that his son just bought a Camaro last week. And I'm also hearing that it was told to his son that they were going to rob his father, and they turned around and gave the guy a job recently. Well, unfortunately, Fred not acting on the straight and up and up. And so this is the problem. He will be targeted by people. When you owe people money, you're going to be targeted by people. And you walk around with $300,000 in cash, supposedly? No, sir. What a mess. Vernita says it's also a sign of how we in our system, politicians, etc., have left their mental health people behind. Well, like I said, in this case, the drugs is what is fueling the psychosis. So you got to address the issue with the drugs first and foremost. And we've always had people in this community who have been addicted to drugs, alcohol, and other things. Just this weekend, somebody sent me, I hadn't seen or heard anything about, what's his name, Kirky in a while. And for a minute there, we were all so hopeful that Kirky was going to be on his, path to recovery. But of course, that once you're an addict, that is a lifelong fight, right? And unfortunately, it looks like Kirky is right back now to being a drunk. And the person sent me a video of him walking up and down. And, poor Kirky. I don't even know what to say, but that is a battle that it doesn't look like he's going to win. And I don't like to say things in a final way, because anybody, as long as you've got life, there is hope for you. But here's poor Kirky on the roadside. Is that a play knife that he's pulling out, a play sword? I hope that's not the real thing. Oh my God. But here's Kirky, walking up and down, barely walking, I should say, drunk as a skunk on West Bay Road. It's so sad. This is someone who I understand is relatively intelligent and could have done so much more with his life, if not for the addiction. There's Odell, and hold on, somebody sent me a picture of Kirky as well. And so unfortunately, poor Kirky now is relegated to this, sitting on the sidewalk, drunk as he can be. And there he is again. So sad. All right, Miss Cynthia, she's joining us by video link. Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Sorry for my appearance. It's early in the morning.
Yeah, so no problem. So yeah, we got the pictures of Keisha.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I mean, it's so hard to believe that you were you said how many years with her?
7 years.
Oh my God. And you had no clue that Keisha was basically just playing you.
No, I had my speculations on things, and when I brought it up, she would say, "Oh, they just a friend. Oh, they my cousins," or things like that of that sort.
Mm-hmm. Right. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have a picture of Keisha. Let me now show based on what you've sent us. And And I mean, what is Keisha saying after all this blew up? Is she apologizing? Is she saying, listen, I did you dirty? You know, we can't be
not being
friends.
apologetic, nothing. She's just saying, oh, she didn't like the cameras in the house. And I'm like, well, there are security cameras. I have one on my front door, one on the back. I have a dog, so is one in her room. And I have a godson who has autism. So I have a camera in his room as well. And I have one in the living room facing the front door. So, and I tried to explain to her over here, like, we use them as security cameras. Like, if anything was to go on, somebody was to break in, we can give this footage to the police or whatever. And I'm just like, just act like they're not here. Oh, and I have 2 Alexas, or whatever, which I can connect with, with my family, that have Alexas and stuff too. But if you're not doing anything, then you shouldn't have a problem with the cameras in the house, So she was just adamant about that.
I guess she figured she couldn't keep up this facade for much longer.
Yeah.
With the camera around.
Exactly. So that's why she would go outside every morning at like 10 o'clock. See, I work second and third shift. So when I get home, it's like 7 o'clock. So I go to sleep. So when I'm waking up, I'm looking for her. She's outside on the phone for like 2 hours. I guess she was thinking that she was like far away from the cameras, but the Ring camera picks up all the way down the street of mine. So I can hear her talking, and it was not the same as she was talking to her mom and dad and her sisters and stuff. So I asked them, like, who are you talking to? Oh, my mom and dad. I'm like, okay. It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah. And Keisha's a big woman, you said in her 30s?
She's 37.
Wow. Is that an engagement ring on her finger that you gave her?
Yep.
Lord Jesus.
And the girl that she was talking to, the one that reached out to me, she said, oh, I never seen that ring on her finger. So evidently she only wears it when I come to the Cayman Islands or Jamaica to visit her.
Right. Wow.
Yep.
It's pretty wild. Obviously living, a double life here.
Triple.
Quadruple.
Sextuple. I mean, she was doing it all. It's like my mind is just blown from the information that I have gotten and seeing her TikTok, which is Seductive 37, Seductive 71 or whatever. Just seeing that alone, like, I was mind blown. Like, she had blocked me for years from social media. And I'm like, okay, so now I know why you didn't block me, because you've been doing the most. And like when she was trying to say, she went home for her birthday to have some type of surgery, which that was a lie. She was out with the girlfriend in Jamaica, or whatever. And I found that picture, and she was like, oh, that's my cousin, that's my friend, da 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 da. But the girl that she was trying to pursue, that has a girlfriend for 9 years, had said, oh no, that's her. She used to go with her, but she broke up with her.
Wow.
So it's like all this time she has been messing with everybody. And the girl was like, well, she said, well, was you with her when she came to Jamaica and she had to work at Amazon. And I said, yeah, I came there.
Mm.
I said, I was there then.
So sad. So Richard was asking what made you open your eyes. So really you got suspicious when she moved to the States with you and you started to hear these phone calls that just didn't sound right.
Yeah. That really opened up my eyes to a lot. And I think that she got onto me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what her plans was. I don't know what it was, but she had left, from what the girl was telling me, that she went to a hotel that night.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went to New York with her brother, and her mom and her sister came up, which they was only here on a visitor's visa because of our wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And she was telling the girl that she got a space, I guess, to say her hair out of, and that she done spent thousands and thousands of dollars on hair. So I'm like, okay, so basically you was coming here just for your own agenda. So that's why I was like, no, it's time to revoke this and go ahead and put in the evidence and stuff that I got. But now that I got new evidence that her and Melissa knew about this, then I have to, let my lawyers know today that I need to send this to the Cayman Islands as well, because they was all plotting together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a big mess. And the fact that I found out that she was talking to another girl in England as well.
What?
But the girl, I guess she came down to see her, and I guess the girl figured out who she was, and I guess, she held tail. She got up out of it.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's a lot with her. She's a big time fraud and scammer.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. Like it's really sad that you would do people, like genuine good people, that way just to get what you want. Like, why can't you get it on your own?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but a lot of people, they don't have the skills or know how to get it on their own. And some people, they do, but they want it the easy way. They're looking for an easy route. And the easy route for some people is just to use other people, which is quite unfortunate.
Exactly. But then the type of people that has no conscience, no guilt,
nothing.
Exactly. Like, have they ever thought about karma that comes back to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just really, really crazy. Like, my mind is still blown over the whole situation, because every day I'm finding out new information, and I'm just like, who is the person that I talked to? Because in the beginning, I really felt that she was genuine and she was telling the truth. But I think as later on, as it progressed, that she was fighting a demon that she had to just let out. So it's crazy, because her family knows, her mom, it just makes me sick to my stomach that your mom is holding as a position in the church,
right,
and she allows this, is really bad. It's really, really bad. And that picture was us of I took of her in the Cayman, not the Cayman, we went to Panama City.
Wow. So you were traveling all over?
Yeah. We traveled all over.
Unbelievable.
And I would pay for everything, you
Yeah.
know. And it's sad because when she came to the United States, you know, my mom had got attached to her. You know, and it's not easy for my mom. My mom is the type of person that she never liked nobody that I had dated, but she really liked her. And it's unfortunate that, you know, that things worked out the way that they did. Like, she didn't just trick me, she tricked my mom. You know, my family, we went to church and stuff like that. Like, she played her role to the fullest, and it just really it's really sad at the end of the day. I really, really feel sad for her. And I really feel sad for Melissa because I feel like that she's listening to Keisha, but Keisha is a very manipulative person and she's a good talker. So, you know, it's just sad that she's got somebody else trapped underneath her web of lies.
Yeah.
Is really sad.
Well, my dear, you know, I hope that you can get some resolution to this. Damien here in the comment section said that, you know, also send it to the local immigration department, which is WORC, because they're probably going to be very interested because it sounds like she's up to quite a bit. So,
yeah,
you know, hearing things here, even from an immigration perspective.
Okay, so you said a WRC.
WORC, workforce, what do they call themselves again? But they're like the immigration arm for the Cayman Islands government. So, like, you know, she needs a permit to be able to work here. And if she's not following the laws currently and you have evidence of that, then surely you know, they can deal with that situation.
Yeah, because I think her thing is what one of the girls was telling me from Jamaica, that her mom owns that that Melissa mom's owns that restaurant. So I'm thinking that she might try to come back on like her mom's work permit or something like that. Or whatever. So I need to try to get on that too, to let them know as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck with the situation. I mean, certainly keep us updated because, you know,
yes,
I'm sure the people here would like to know what happened and how this kind of all, you know, flushes out in the end. I'll send you an email address for Works as well, where you can send. They've got an email address set up for complaints.
Yes, ma'am.
That would be the best way, I think, of reaching out to them. With whatever evidence, and, you know, try to lay it out in a concise manner, have your lawyer do that, and provide whatever evidence you say of what she's been up to. You know, now obviously they're only going to care about like immigration infractions, so they don't probably care about anything else in terms of relationship, but if you have evidence of that, I'm sure they're happy to see it.
Yes, ma'am. That's good.
Yeah. Well, how did you find this, by the way? I'm curious. How did you hear about Cayman Mall Road?
I'm very investigative on trying to get the word out. So I came across it. So I researched it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, keep us posted.
Yes, ma'am. I definitely will.
All right, my dear. Thanks very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome, dear.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show there. We went into a little bit of overtime this morning. So that's Keisha. We saw Keisha's pictures there. Sounds like a hot mess of a situation. We'll be back tomorrow. I still didn't get to the Auditor General's report, but there's a lot to unpack there. So I feel like that's an entire show all by itself. So hopefully tomorrow we can get to that. And please be safe on the roadways today. There's already been a serious accident on West Bay Road this morning. Slow down. Roads are a little bit slick when it's raining. And of course, you all just need to take it easy out in these roadways. So please, no drinking and driving, and just take your time and slow down a bit. All right. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning. Yes, God's willing, we will be here live and direct at 7:33 a.m. Good folks, be good, or try to be good at it. If you can't be good, right? Give it your best shot. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And enjoy the Christmas breeze. Doesn't it feel amazing? Oh, I love this weather. All right, see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.